According to J.J. Mapes, agriculture is the fundamental source of national prosperity. On that note, I welcome you to another edition of O.O.K Farms Annual Symposium in conjunction with the Association of Registered Social Youth Club or your state. And this event is happening right here at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Moniya, Ibadan. My name is Grace Ayilaron and I'm reporting for Ibadan Media. The event promises to be great. It promises to be amazing because we have speakers who are ready to impact in us, who are ready to give us the knowledge, who are ready to help us see the opportunities that is attached to agriculture. You're welcome. I have with me the CEO of O.O.K Farms, a person of Omolara Stevenson. Good morning, ma.
Morning.
I must say you look so stunning.
Thank you.
So how are you feeling right about now?
I'm feeling good.
Okay, so you've been in this agricultural sector for 2 decades, according to your profile. So I would like to ask you that what is the drive behind you being an agricultural person?
Okay, so first of all, you have to have passion for it. Then when you have the passion and you go into agriculture and I call it eye-opening experience, and you have a lot of eye-opening experience of how blessed we are in Africa, especially in Nigeria. And I say it often, most especially in Oyo State, because if I'm not mistaken, Oyo State is most definitely the only state in Nigeria where you could cultivate anything all year round, So these are what I would call my motivating forces that, had kept the fire burning.
So according to the topic, redirecting the youth and women into the opportunities in agriculture and agribusiness industry in Nigeria. So I would like to know, do you think Nigerian youths are willing to venture in this agribusiness?
Unfortunately, most of them are not. Okay, a handful of them that likes to read and research and study, they are also getting to experience the eye-opening experience. So we have a handful of them that are showing interest, but that's not good enough. If you ask an average Nigerian youth, they want to hit or they want to go into politics and stuff like that, and that's a very wrong orientation and way of seeing things. There is enormous and sustainable wealth in agriculture in our country.
So now at the end of this event, what should we expect? Because I know we have notable speakers that are here to impact knowledge, that are here to open our eyes to the opportunities in agriculture. But I want you to tell us, what should we expect at the end of this event?
We should expect to see more youth and women showing keen interest in the agriculture and especially the agribusiness aspect of agriculture. And we should also expect a lot of reorientation on learning and relearning a lot of things.
Lastly, so what do you think the government should do to help this sector grow?
First of all, policy implementation. We have quite a number of very wonderful policies that are not being implemented. And of course, new policies has to be put in place and implemented from time to time. And also for government, they need to prioritize their priority, both at the state and the federal level. Kudos to the your state government. They seem to be paying more attention to agri sector, but there's still a lot they need to do by going about it in the right direction and with the right people. We have political farmers and people in agriculture. We have the ones that I call the academics, and then we have the real farmers. So the government, both on the state and federal level, need to pay attention to the real farmers, the real people that are in the agriculture and agribusiness sector for the passion, for the love of it, for the right reasons.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the green carpet.
You're welcome.
So I have with me Farmer Kola Adeniji from Niji Group. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning. I'm fine.
All right. So thank you so much for coming. So, sir, I would like to ask you, do you think that Nigerian youth or women are even willing to venture into this agribusiness?
Yeah, Nigerian youth are willing to venture in the agribusiness, but they are limited. So limited in the sense of the policies, the government interventions, and some of the private sector involvement, so need to be taught properly, and for some of the school or the training for the youth, so that they can see farming as a business.
Okay, so what do you think the government could do to assist the farmers in the country?
The government for your state, personally, they are doing something great in terms of supporting the youth, but they can still do a lot more. So the issue of training of the youth, they did, I think, 2 years ago. It was okay, but they don't need to stop at that. They need to actually do that one more often. They need to ask the youth, some of those youth, what are the limitations, what are your experience, what are the areas we can actually improve in the area of training when we are doing something of such. Do we really need to create a kind of hub for you, or like in-grass system for you, so that a lot of you be able to work together in the different sectors? So they need to have more interaction with the youth, so to understand what exactly the youth need and how they really need to drive the agriculture, then combine with their own efforts.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the green carpet.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have here with me Dr. Charles of AfriMash. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. Thank you.
So good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you are a youth, and from the point of youth, I would like to like explain to us, what do you think Nigerian youth are really ready to start or to venture into agribusiness?
Okay, thank you. So when we look at the concept of agribusiness, sometimes we could think of the typical hoe and cutlass farmer. But for someone like myself, I'm a youth in the tech aspect of agriculture, and I feel there are different aspects of agribusiness you can explore. There are the sustainability part of agriculture, there are the tech part, and I just think at this period we have a lot of things to explore as against what we had back then.
Now, so don't you think this tech agriculture is going to take, I mean, when it takes over, do you think agriculture will still be the same compared to, as opposed to using hoe and cutlass?
Okay, I think one major thing is that we're going to have smarter ways of farming, with smaller farm spaces. We can actually do more, using technology. I mean, people are talking about drones and other parts, and I think generally productivity is going to be better.
Okay, so lastly, what do you think the government can do to assist the farmers?
I think basically, if you ask this question of farmers, you're going to hear the aspect of funding. Everybody needs money, but there could be better ways to package it. There's a typical farmer out there that needs money but doesn't know what to do to position himself to get the money. So I think in point of access to information on finance is actually a major aspect that government needs to support people with.
All right, thank you so much for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning. Please tell us your name.
My name is Dami.
Okay, so as a guest, what are your expectations for this event?
I'm just really here to hear what they have to say, and I expect them to say something really nice.
Okay, so are you interested in agribusiness?
Yes, I am.
So what is the drive behind it?
My father is a farmer, so from seeing what he has been doing, it has inspired me to follow his footsteps.
Okay, so we can see you have been watching your father being a farmer for a while. So what do you think the government can do to assist the farmers in the country?
They should improve the security in some states, because most times when traveling, some bandits and other security things affect us on the road.
Thank you so much for coming.
We spend money, but we make it first before we spend it. So farmers spend money. Praise the Lord. Sorry, I'm into another character now. I play a lot of characters, so I'll try and remember that I play this character here now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are all welcome to this auspicious occasion. This is the second in its series of O.O.K Symposium. Last year we had one right here, and it was really fantastic, and we are continuing with the symposium program. So we are pressed for time, so I'll just try as much as I can to run through this speech as fast as I can so that we can accommodate other speakers. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure and honor to welcome everyone here with us today to the second of its kind, a symposium and a talk show organized by OOK Group Limited to create an opportunity where stakeholders, industry practitioners, researchers, teachers, policymakers, government officials, agripreneurs, and young budding enthusiasts in the agri-space can gather to review, take stock, brainstorm, and then profile and give pointers to the way forward. We are particularly proud to be hosting this event. We are proud because it's an opportunity for us to give back to the society, to empower our young ones, to create a pathway for growth and development. And as a company, we are proud to be leading in this direction. Last year at the inaugural edition, we had speakers make presentations on the following topics of interest. The title for the symposium last year was Redirecting Youth and Women to the Opportunities in Agriculture and Agribusiness in Nigeria. We had speakers, our amiable Managing Director, Ms. Omlara Stenson, spoke. We have Dr. Ruben Abati as the keynote speaker. We had Professor Isaac Ayelagbe from the Department of Horticulture, FUNAB. He spoke on the impact of school curriculum in discouraging the girl child or women in pursuing a career in agriculture. The essence was to review the way our curriculum of studies were being put together. How does that encourage or discourage young people to go into agriculture? We also had the pleasure of having in our presence Pastor Ms. Olariwaju Nwankwo. She spoke about the opportunities in commodity exports. We had Mrs. Sheun Ogidon. She spoke about our experience as a woman in the agribusiness industry in Nigeria. There's an export ban of maize because we are not producing enough. Now I also have another one that shows the states, the last one, states that leads in agriculture, in maize production in Nigeria. We just sang our West State National Anthem, Ashiwaji. Now, this shows our position in the scheme of things. There's a lot of room for improvement. The essence of a talk like this is one of the things that we've seen over the years is the knowledge in the production or in our involvement in agribusiness. We have a lot of small farm holders and the production from what they do or what they get from their land is not optimal because of knowledge, because of skill, because of innovation. I have another graphic here. This was a presentation made by Dr. Doyin Salami, one of the economic advisors to the federal government. It shows an expenditure pattern in Nigeria that shows it was a review from 2003 to 2019. As of 2003, from an average Nigerian that owns 100 naira spends about 67 naira of that 100 naira on food and beverages, agriculture. As at 2009, from that same 100 naira, 54 naira was spent on food and beverages. As at 2019, from that same 100 naira, 56 naira was spent on food. So there's opportunity. On the average, a Nigerian spends half of his income on food. Opportunities abound, and that's the reason why OOK sees the need to sensitize us, to enlighten us, to bring opportunity for education. Yes, we all call on government, but sometimes personal improvement too goes a long way. It is the aggregation of everything that we do that tells of how well the government or the country is doing. The productive capacity is directly proportional to the skill level. So OOK Academy, OOK Group has a agribusiness academy to train. Last year, our agronomist made an observation in our farm in Fashola. Another farmer was going to apply fertilizer. Instead of getting NPK, he got urea. And he saw him applying it. Now he would have spent money because urea is costlier than most of the NPK variants that we have. But he's spending urea when he should have been going for NPK. Maybe he just went to the shop and saw that they are selling fertilizer, I just bought one. There was no soil analysis, there was nothing, he just bought one and thought it was okay. And when the production doesn't meet his expenditure, you run out of business. You go into debt. And that's the reason why OOK Group has a business academy, agribusiness academy to train. What you do with knowledge is not strength, it's not muscle, It's just the right, this wisdom is the right application of knowledge. And that's one of the reasons why we want to encourage young people to come into this space, to be part of the prosperity and hope that this country holds. I want to once again welcome every one of us. I hope when the experts, the real experts, sit up here, they'll be able to, because I'm just a hangers-on. I'm helping my MD to check bank activity. That's all. Praise the Lord. So when the real experts come here, you interact with them and go away from this place a better person. Thank you once again. God bless you. Happy deliberation.
All right, thank you very much. Please give him a round of applause one more time. I was also following the presentation and I discovered that South Africa, is still way ahead. And he also showed us something about the northern states being ahead of Oyo State as well. Please, I want to ask this question. How many of us grew up taking pap and akara in the morning? Every Saturday morning. Today is a Saturday. Saturday morning. Bros, even till now, say you are nodding your head. How many of us have had pap and akara this morning? Okay, you see, no hands up right now. So, if you want to go back to eating the north, in growing and using maize, I think we should go back to pap and akara every morning. Bros, you go like food. So you are nodding your head. One day I'm going to be a farmer. I'd like to recognize the presence of some of our guests here today, very special guests. We have our speakers ready to educate us this morning, but I'd like to first off recognize, I don't know if present, representing the DG Oisada, Mr. J.O. Ilori. I don't know if he's present right here. And Mr. O.O. Popola. Please give him a round of applause. I want to take some testimonials this morning. I've just been reminded, we have some people that have been through this process. I would like them to talk about what being a beneficiary of this kind of event is. So I'd like to first invite Mr. Oshun Idowu to briefly give us his testimonial this morning. Mr. Oshun Idowu. Is Mr. Oshun Idowu present? Yes. All right. Please give him a round of applause one more time.
Good morning everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Well, permit me to stand and the existing protocol. Well, I won't spend much time. I will talk about two things. I'll talk about the opportunities across agricultural energy. This is just a presentation that I used presenting to some of the core members that we have at IITA. So I'll speak about two things. Speak about the opportunities, then I'll share some of our success stories, the youths that have been doing well in agribusiness. But I'll start with this. Sometimes last year, I went to one of these NYC orientation camps. Let me introduce myself. My name is Idowu. I'm a business development expert. I work with IITA under the TART program, and I've worked with ALF implementing the Central Bank of Nigeria Entrepreneurship Development Center. So I train in agribusiness and I support youth and everybody in agribusiness. Supporting in the sense of helping them to come up with good business ideas and establishing and expanding agribusiness enterprises. I train on business plans and done a lot of business plans. Yeah. So last year, when I went to that orientation camp to speak about agribusiness, so after speaking for some time, one of the youths raised up his hand. I thought he wanted to ask a question. He said, "You'll be telling us agribusiness, everything, farming is a scam," saying all sort of negative things. In fact, one of the officials got angry and he wanted to We wanted to send him away. I said, no, leave him. Come, young man. What was his point? His point was, this network marketing is better than farming, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Well, come. You are a fine boy, yes. Have you eaten today? He said, yes. Everybody sitting down here, I think they were about 1,600 youths. Can you tell me, is it possible that people here will not eat today? Say, I know they will eat. So if everybody will eat, definitely there is business in agribusiness. And that way, that just counts everything. And so what I'm saying is this. There are a lot of opportunities in agribusiness. A lot of opportunities. But some things we need to critically look at. There are some points we need to critically look at. And one of those points is the age of farmers in Africa is a serious issue that we must pay attention to. Those people that are really doing very well, I mean, so much involved now, they are aged, they are old people. So we need youths to be involved. That's an important point. Then another important point is that look all around. Nigeria is blessed with a lot of resources. Last week I said something about that. Because of my performance and the interview, requested that they bring me to his office and said, why do you want to work with us? I said, my passion is to support people, to help them to see that those things are. Now, the education system that we have is the kind of system that will help us to become a good employee and not to become a good business owner. Because they train us to read and pass. So it takes someone that can pass, read, pass, that can be a good employee because you'll be able to carry out instructions. But it takes someone that can think to be a business owner. So these are some of the things that is affecting us, still affecting us, because it's systemic. So we have that educational system and we can't help it, but sometimes, I mean, that's how we have some of these interventions coming this way, so that outside the normal academic world, we have ways to build capacities and stuff like that. So another thing, these are some realities about Nigerian youth. Another thing is that they don't have clear direction at times. I'm sorry, but this is a fact. Because we never had any curriculum that will ask you what's your vision in life. We never had any curriculum that will ask you to write something about mission. We never had any talented teacher or lecturer that will say, no, I've discovered this in you. This is your path. This is your way. And help you develop it. No. So that's why when we graduate and when we see people out there, we have this mindset, this mentality of jumping at the next available opportunity, because it's a survival economy. Just grab on the next thing available instead of thinking about what are the opportunities, looking at what you have within to bring the best out of life. Most times they are surrounded by people who are not entrepreneurial in nature. I was, they invite me for trainings, for speech, for like that. So this particular day after, when I finished, I was going and the guy said, can I join you on the right? Come now. He said, why is it that at times when we have planned that I want to do business, you discover that you will not be able to start? It's okay. Your dad, what does he do? He's a civil servant. Okay. Your mommy, civil servant. All those 1, 2, 3 uncles you want to civil servants. And when they are not entrepreneurial in nature, they don't have that mindset. When you say you want to start a business, it is strange to them. So they don't connect with what you think you are carrying, what burden. They just water it down. The moment they water it down, just relax. Until you come to a program like this again, it inspires you again. You want to take another step, and the next person you speak to cannot connect yet. So it keeps like that. Another thing is this: when an idea is given, it is given to you, and others around you may not see it. And when they don't see it, they may not connect with it. It doesn't mean that it cannot work. So, looking for the next available opportunity, and most times they are surrounded by people that cannot see their visions and cannot believe in them. So, we have serious issues when our people, after the NYSC, for those that finish that have the first degree and stuff like that, scampering for the jobs that are not available. They see people doing all sorts of things. You see the kind of lives they face. Fine, it's good. We even have some people that are, trying to fend for themselves because of the peculiarity of the problems that we're facing. So, a lot of effects on us. We have insecurity, we have poverty, we have food crisis, we have migration, and we are losing human capital big time. Now, there's a difference between agriculture and agribusiness. And the difference is simple. Now, the agriculture is the practice. And agribusiness is bringing business into the practice. And we need to emphasize this at all times because still, to a great extent, many occasions, people are still practicing agriculture and not agribusiness. And how it starts is, the moment you cannot sit down and say, okay, this is what I want to do, this is the cost, this is the expected revenue, and this is possible, profit and stuff like that. Now, I've worked with many farmers, I've been in the industry for over a decade too. But one thing I keep telling people is this: whatever talent you have, whatever gift you have, whatever level of education you have, whatever skill you have a place in agribusiness. Because looking at these different activities involved in the value chain, you can easily plug in your talent, plug in your gift, plug in your skills to solve one problem or the other. And how do we identify business? We simply identify business by identifying problems to solve. So even someone that studies computer science, someone that studies accounting, someone that studies, whatever you study, you definitely have a place in agriculture. And you definitely have a solution to solve all the problems. And once you can solve, you can have a solution, definitely you have a business. Because when you have the volume, you stand a better chance of negotiations. Then they will have, they'll be able to share cost of capital items. And a good example of that is irrigation facility. And where we have today agriculture, whether we like it or yes, the way to go is irrigation. Because the climate change is something we have not really seen enough of it. Sincerely, it's just unfolding. It's unfolding. And the earlier, the better. Facing it, irrigation. See, not be joke. Nigerian population no, the rate of growth is exponential. It's too much. And in the next 5 years, only God knows. So if you don't really sit up to this food production, it's hunger is going God forbid that. So one key thing is irrigation, and the cost is high, but it's when we come together, share the cost, it can be easier that way. Even when people come together, it's easier to access loan, and you understand, coming together in groups, they even respect dealing with groups this way. This is one of the agribusiness parks, and we have different agribusiness parks where we have youth coming together. This is in One River State, and this is in Imo State, and this is in, of course, this is part of the services we provide, the agribusiness support services to all our beneficiaries, access to loans, mentorship, markets, like that. Now, success stories. Sheon Obidon was here last year because she has F-STEM, so let me not speak much about that. This is Edmond in Tanzania, and what it does is makes use of waste to still make products that people use. So it produces biopesticide that doubles as organic fertilizer. So the guy is doing well. He has won has no more than 20 grants. It has a very big business in Tanzania. And O.K Farms, we have these our colleagues, they have a factory on campus here where they make fish feed, and they also have their smoked catfish. They sell all over Nigeria and they sell abroad, Europe, America, like that. And this guy was a banker, and he left banking for farming. He's still into farming till date. And I remember AMTP did his story, and after AMTP published his story, BBC also requested for his story to be published. And I think they should have done that by now. So these are some of the success stories that we have. You can contact us through these links. So there are a lot of opportunities while we also teach, we facilitate, some of us are also involved in those side runs, you understand? So because there are lot of opportunities in agribusiness. Nigeria can feed not just many countries in Africa. Meanwhile, Africa can feed the whole world. Thank you. Let me stop here. Thank you so much.
My testimony is packed, and I want us to listen very carefully, please. While I was in secondary school, in the technical college, we had a farm. And in those days, there is this radio program that says, I don't know if people here will remember. Agbemaṣe Ṣokunu, Agbemaṣe Iṣẹ́ Àgbẹ̀. Orin yẹn ló inspire me nígbà tí mo wà ní school. Last year, I was here, and the program, this same program was held here. Two things had inspired me to stand before you. Number one, I met somebody that blew me away. And who is that person? O.O.K. And when I heard about the symposium last year, I was thinking I would meet a man. And when I got here, I met a woman. And what I have seen, what I have heard from her is so awesome. Now, the issue of O.O.K, I believe it's a vision. And for that vision coming from a woman is revolutionary. And revolutionary in the sense that the key things that keep life is what that vision is based on, which is food. America is great today because in their constitution they have right to life. Right to life means that you have the right to eat. And that is why Americans, in food production, they are phenomenal. Because every American has the right to eat. So when I came in contact with O.O.K, this is what exactly came to my mind. And last year, the symposium exposed me to rudiments of farming and the opportunities that's in it. The first thing that caught my attention was exporting commodities. And my mom, of late, of blessed memory, and then I traded with her while going to the farm to buy maize to supply to Ladokun Fit. And that is when I had opportunity to know more about farming. So when I come in contact with O.O.K, I knew that there's something in here for me. And since last year, many things had happened. O.O.K has trained me to be a farmer. Let's give you a round. OK has exposed me to cooperative society. And not only that, through OK, standing here is the secretary of the executives of O.O.K Farmers Multipurpose Cooperative Society. Now, the basic thing is that, which I want each and every one of us here today. The last speaker spoke about youth. You see, when you look at youth in the context of age, we might not get it right. But when you look at youth at heart, you get something. There are people that are 50, that are 60, that still has the, still strong to do things like youth. Because knowledge is strength, experience is strength. And through O.O.K, my own part of being a farmer has been inspired. By the grace of God, today I have 11 acres of land on cultivation for maize. So, and I believe that anyone that has come in contact with O.O.K today, you have something to take on. You have something to lean on. You have something to make Nigeria a better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a standing ovation. Let's invite the Group Managing Director of O.O.K Limited, Miss Omonaya Svensson. Please give back an official rise.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you for the introduction to Playful. That was a handful. When he started earlier, at some point I started looking around who he was trying to introduce, you know, so that was a good one. Thank you very much. Conventionally, I have a speech here that took myself and my PA hours to write, but I'm going to leave that for a second. And apologies, standing on all existing protocols. I'll also personally like to recognize the presence of a couple of people here today. The Commissioner for Youth and Sport has sent, and I'm glad about this, that he sent a female representative actually. Thank you, Ma, for being here. I appreciate that.
She's also a farmer.
And she's also a farmer. So, yes, I was wondering why we're having to use this. Thank you for being here. I feel very happy when I see female farmers like myself. Thank you. And thank you to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. And I also want to recognize the presence of my very dear brother, Dr. Debo Akonde, that is being represented here today by Mr. Ilori and Mr. Bola from apologies, my brother, from Oisada. We need more youth, and like Pastor said earlier, not youth when it comes to age, you know, like Pastor Farayo, like Comrade. Comrade is the president of the Registered Association of Registered Youth Club and Forum in Oyo State. And when you look around, for those of us that were here last year, as a private sector company, when we held this same symposium last year, this hall could not contain people. We had to filter people from the gate. This hall could not contain people. Likes of Comrade had left his personal life, his personal job, all he needed to do for the past 2 weeks, trying to motivate our youths in Oyo State to come for today's program. Commissioner, they are not supposed, they're not paying, am I wrong? The symposium is free. It's just for our youth to bring themselves from their home to this hall for the past 2 weeks. We've started this program where to start at 10, we started about an hour ago, and the hall is half filled. I leave it at that. I was going to call out the few young men that were seated here, so it's as good as they've stepped out, because all they have been doing is interrupting the program by talking amongst themselves. Now, I know we find it convenient to blame the government. I'm not saying the government do not have their own issues. But what sort of youth are we, or have we breeded? I'm not sure I'm in that generation. Well, I think I am. I have a 19-year-old daughter. Government has not organized this symposium, but they've shown interest. They've said to you, come and learn for free. You don't show up. The few that shows up made it their point of duty to be talking and be pressing on their phone all through the program. To every youth that is listening to my voice today, either you watch it on social media, internet, or whatever, I want to speak to us as a Nigerian. It is high time we start asking ourselves that question. What sort of a Nigerian am I? Am I part of the problem, or am I part of the problem-solving Nigerians? Because to every Nigerian that is here today, or that is going to watch this program, as the Yorubas will say, "Anilati tweru arawaru," and I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you. It's okay. Clapping is allowed. Again, my name is Omolara Svensson. Quite a number of people calls me OOK, and I am the GMD of OOK Group. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, farmers, intending farmers, and those that are enthusiastic about becoming an agriculturalist or coming into the industry, I welcome you to our second annual symposium. I stand before you today with great pride and enthusiasm to share the journey of O.O.K Farms and our mission to revolutionize agribusiness, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa as a continent. But of course, we're starting from Nigeria, and we're starting from Oyo State. In a nation where agriculture has always been an integral part of our culture and economy, we at O.O.K Farms believe it is high time to change the orientation of the youth and women towards this vital sector. Nigeria, with its vast arable land, especially Oyo State, favorable climate and population that is predominantly young, holds immense potential in the field of agriculture. However, for far too long, urban lifestyles, the lack of modern farming practices, and the misconception that agriculture is a profession meant for the older generation that have resulted in a decline. This has resulted in a decline in the number of youth and women that are engaged in agriculture. Our government has made significant strides in promoting and supporting the agricultural sector, contributing to its growth and development. Their commitment to agriculture as a priority sector is evident in the implementation of various initiatives and policies that have positively impacted farmers and agribusinesses. While we recognize the immense potential of agriculture in Nigeria, we must address one of the key challenges faced by the sector: the lack of effective policy implementation. Without robust and well-implemented government policies, the agricultural industry cannot reach its full potential or provide the necessary support to farmers, especially the youth and women. It is imperative that we advocate for the policies that not only encourages agriculture but also ensures their effective implementation for maximum impact. To encourage agriculture, the government should focus on the following policy areas: investment in agricultural infrastructure, adequate infrastructure including irrigation systems, storage facilities and rural roads is essential for enhancing productivity and reducing post-harvest losses. The government should prioritize investment in infrastructure development to create an enabling environment for agricultural activities. Access to finance. Lack of access to affordable credit remains a significant hurdle for farmers. Through captivating storytelling and engaging visuals, we will ignite a passion for agriculture and motivate them to explore the possibilities within the sector. The program will also serve as a platform for discussing the challenges faced by young farmers. In addition to awareness, we understand that access to modern technology and farming practices is crucial for the success of young farmers and women in agriculture. O.O.K Farms is committed to provide training programs through our agribusiness academy by equipping them with necessary knowledge and skills. We ensure that they are well prepared to embrace agriculture as a viable and profitable career of choice. It is our belief that empowering them with necessary knowledge and skill is essential for their success for the overall growth of agricultural sector. On this note, I get a lot of calls all the time. Please, I've just harvested tomato and they are about getting rotten. Where can I sell them? So we have these sort of challenges as well. We actively collaborate with financial institutions, government agencies like IITA, and development organizations to create a tailored financing solutions and marketing linkages, including our cooperative society, by eliminating financial barriers and facilitating market access. We enable the youth and women to establish and scale their agricultural enterprises, contributing to their economic independence and overall growth of our nation's agricultural sector. In conclusion, the reasons behind O.O.K Farms' dedication to revolutionizing agribusiness in Nigeria and changing the orientation of the youth and women about agriculture are deeply rooted in our belief in transformative power of agriculture. We envision a future where the youth and women in Nigeria not only view agriculture as a traditional occupation, but as a dynamic and innovative sector that offers them opportunities for personal and national growth. Together, let us inspire the youth and women to embrace agriculture, harness its potentials, and build a prosperous and sustainable future for Nigeria. Thank you all.
All right, let's keep clapping until she gets back to the seats. Good sir. Thank you very much. I know that she can, thank God you made it brief. You can actually get a world record for talking about agriculture.
Yes.
One day you start with one in your office and I'm like, you know, can you do more than 100 hours talking about agriculture?
Definitely.
What's the longest you've done?
Well, we'll see.
All right, please give a round of applause one more time.
Okay, so while they try to sort my slide, just a very short story on how I met Ms. Benson. Earlier this year we were in Kenya, and my guy Mr. Nijo was there with us as well. You know, so Kenya's food is not like Nigerian food. You get. So we were having lunch, I think on the third day, and I don't know what she ordered, but I think it was rice or something. And you know, she said that there's no pepper in this food. And you know, she called one of the waitresses to bring pepper for her. And the waiters bought something that looked like okra. It was green in color. All of us were Nigerians in the table and some Kenyans. So you know, we kept quiet. She missed it and took the first bite. I was like, you know, and then you know, we got talking, and you know, I was able to feel the passion she had for agriculture. Just like the MC said, if you stand or talk with her, it's almost very, very difficult to, merge the word farmer for her. But I really appreciate it because I know from meeting her, meeting Mr. Niji as well, from back then in February to now, I've been exposed to a lot of other stuff. So thank you very much, man. Thank you, sir. I was still trying to sort my slide. I remember Ms. Benson talked about the question, what sort of Nigerian am I? And there's also the question of youth. So if someone usually asks me to describe myself, I would like to say I'm the tech youth, the youth that looks at how do we solve challenges with agriculture using technology. So someone is probably talking about hectares of land and the likes, and the kind of thing that I want to talk about, drone technology, sustainable practices, and the likes. A bit of information about my childhood. I was born in Niger State, in northern Nigeria. I'm going to focus on the technology aspect, and like I said, that is the kind of Nigerian or the kind of farmer I am. How do we use or how do we leverage technology to make agriculture better for everyone? Okay, so like I said, Afromatch is more like a Jumia and e-commerce platform for farmers. So what do we do? E-commerce means how do you sell online? You're producing your maize, you're producing your millets, you're producing your fish, you're producing your dairy chicks or whatever. Now one of the major concerns of most farmers, apart from access to finance, is also access to market. You want to be able to do your production and focus on your business. So imagine you're producing tomatoes, like she said, or maize or dairy chicks, and you have access to finance. Okay, someone is giving you money to run the business. At the end of the day, the moment your products ripen or the moment your beds mature, somebody is coming to your farm to pick it off and pay you a very, very good or fair rate for it. And at the end of the day, you don't really have much challenges with that. But then looking at that farmers, and it's not just focused on the big producers, but also working with small other farmers to see how to link them to the people that want to buy from them. So there's something when you discover, if you get the typical graduate of technology or a graduate of computer science, invite him into your company and give him tech tools to work with, like to give the solution how to solve. Now it's very, very difficult. Why? Because they are not farmers. If I were to maybe call a kind of, maybe have some tech experts and have Ms. Benson here as well as Mr. Niji here to discuss on what the kind of tool or the kind of app we want to make, the product is going to be a lot better than if you just hand it over to the IT guys. Why? Because we are coming from the context of the farmers. So in Afromatch, we are all experts. I'm a vet doctor. My company was founded by Dr. Ayoye Dotun. He's also a vet doctor, a graduate of here. We have about 5 vet doctors in the company. We have agricultural engineers in the company as well. We have agronomists and crop experts. For those of us that order from Jumia, if you want to buy your laptop, you see about 4 or 5, almost 15 different types of laptop. It's not every time you have to call someone to explain, because their mother doesn't really support that. You have to know what you want. So you either want a HP or a Dell. But then we decided to go into in-bit supply. You're a manufacturer, you have a product. Let's say O.O.K have their farmers, their gari, their rice, and the likes, and want to sell it online, and they list it on our platform. But we found out that just having access to the products were not enough. Another thing we needed to look at was that a typical farmer does not know, should he go for this variety of maize or this variety of maize? Someone has 2 million and says, money did this dairy business, let me go into it. I want to buy broilers. Now there are different kinds of broilers for different purposes. There are those that are hardy, there's even the broilers, there's the breed of the broilers and the local breeds. There are the local, different types. This person has money, he wants to make profit, he wants to go into the business, but he doesn't know. So we now found out that making the products available was not just enough. And this is actually how we can leverage on technology. We needed to be able to give extension services or give advice to farmers. How do we do that? Now we decided to now have experts in the team. So, and I'm not just talking about my company. Most other agri-tech or tech-enabled companies focus on the aspect whereby you get the experts in the team. Now in Afromatch, because the moment the customer calls us and says, hello, good morning, nice to meet you, and all those kind of things, you say, what do you need? How may we be of service? I say, I want to buy maize. Or you mention anything crop related. Now, most companies have customer service agents. What is the criteria for hiring customer service? Someone that looks good and can speak good English. But in the context of my company, we decided to hire professionals in the agricultural space that can speak good English and also look good as well. So you're having experts in the customer service. So you're a farmer, you want to plant your maize or whatever, and you make the moment you can categorize you as a crop farmer, you're speaking to the agronomist or the crop experts. You say, okay, I want to buy a defending machine for processing, you're speaking to the agriculture engineer who are in the customer service as well. You want to buy dairy chicks, or you want to buy cattle or swine or whatever it is, as long as it's livestock, you're speaking to the veterinary doctors. So this is that using technology, we have to now marry not just input supply, but also the access to information. That means instead of always looking for the kind of vet doctor that comes to your farm or an expert to come to your farm, you can actually reach them to the telephone. And then I'm talking in general terms. Sometimes in the course of our business, you have money you have funds for your business, you have an idea, and then you decide to go into the field and deploy that idea. And sometimes you learn one or two things that don't necessarily fit into the original business model that you had. So some years ago, and not just my company, some other companies felt, okay, we are digital. But then agriculture in Nigeria, most of the people are actually the smallholder farmers. What challenge do they have? It's not all of them that have access to the Android phone. That means if you're talking of www.something.com, it's probably those that have an iPhone or Android phone that can access that. So found out that we're not even getting access to some customers. The guys in Bayelsa, in Kebbi State, in the bush, they need this item. They're probably using rope and buckets to fetch water from well. Meanwhile, there are better solar options or better pneumatic options available. They didn't have access to that. So we now found out that, okay, not only was the fact that they needed better equipment or access to inputs, they also needed access to digital advice. But we now found out that also, because we were digital, we're not meeting some set of customers. The typical customers that have the maybe Nokia 3310 or do not even have access to technology in some remote areas. So what did we do? We started to work with, collaborate with other organizations, and then you got funding and started to bring in the field agents and the USSD. That means if you do not have access to this phone before, you couldn't buy from not just Afromat but from other e-commerce platforms. So now they're looking into USSD. That means just like an MTN, you could do *222 or star something hash, and it takes you to the website. Okay, see with your normal 3310, then you see what you want to buy. Is it crops? Is it livestock? Is it equipment? You click on livestock. Next thing takes you to point of lay, day-old chicks, goats and swines. You click on press 1, takes you to day-old chicks. Under day-old chicks, you could see different brands, and click on it. The next thing it asks your location. Say if you're in Ibadan, and then it automatically calculates the distance between. Let's say you're in Lagos, for example. Calculate the distance between Ibadan or shipping it to Lagos, and at the end of the day, just from your Android phone, you're having access to your total amount that's supposed to pay. 50,000, 60,000, then you make the transfer, and in 2, 3, 4 days, the products get to you. So, because of the fact that we started the business, so the business was started with a particular model, we went into the communities and found out something different. So that means now, not just can you order from your laptops or your Android phone, if you do not have access to the data technology per se, you can use the GSM, USSD to access that. But then we still faced another challenge. Some customers or some farmers were not literate enough. They did not have access. Even if they had access to phones, there was no power to be able to power the phones often. So we now looked into the point of collaborating with some extension-based businesses that how can we merge technology and the field agents. So what do we do? Most of the field agents usually go to the field based on the knowledge they have in their head. And they have some challenges that they cannot help the customers address. So when I said, let us link technology with these field agents. Get some agents in different parts of the country, train them on how to use the USSD or the Android phone, and help them generate sales. Keep it on commission basis. So the field agents talks more like the same way the POS businesses are helping the banks. The banks cannot be everywhere. Back then, if there was a Naira swap or whatever, everybody had to queue up at the bank. But now, because we have POS agents around, there's enough money to go around. So, all I'm trying to say is that for farmers or Nigerians like myself, whenever any problem comes up in agriculture, the context for what we're thinking about is how do we leverage on technology. I watched a video somewhere in Kenya where they're talking about, I'm sure most of us are aware of what they call precision agriculture. They're talking about cases whereby they use drones, the same drones people like himself used to, make videos at events and the likes. They've packed behavior or higher capacity drones, and probably put a keg inside it and mix their pesticides. So, sometimes they're talking about maybe the insecurity in the country, some remote areas and the likes, you can't have access to it. Meanwhile, there are farmers there that need access to some of the things you have. So in this video I saw in Kenya, the drones could actually take these pesticides to different areas, to different farms in remote areas. And someone is monitoring it from your laptop or a system. And when it gets to that place, they could decide, okay, this is a large farm. Let us apply the pesticides to just part A of the farm. And the first level of drones spray the first one, second one, third one. Nobody is there, it's being monitored. I've also seen a case whereby the drone technology used the same drone, they put a kind of device on it that had like 2 sharp fingers. So it goes close to the plants, starts, as it's looking at the plant, somebody is taking the video, looking at, once it sees maybe there are diseased plants, maybe some plants have some discoloration, or there's some insects in the farms, these drones have been capacitated to probably capture some of the insects or cut out some of the leaves and bring it back to the lab. I'm talking of something that somebody can be here in Ibadan, monitoring something happening at Isheyin or Bomosho, different parts of the country. And so these are smarter areas of technology that have cut across whether it's supply chain or the challenges with logistics and the likes. But from my experience, and then my company tried to go into this, we found out that most of these financial institutions, in fact, people like NISA Bank of Agriculture, they have funds earmarked for agriculture already. I was talking to a member of the bank and he said they gave him a target to give out 25 billion naira within, I think that was late after COVID, 2020. And he scored low, or he kind of failed in that quest because he was able to deploy less than 50% of that. So there's money. So when I asked ourselves, what is the basic challenge? Why is it that this money is not getting to these people? Let me put it this way. The simple answer is packaging. Okay, I spoke to a member of Bank of Agriculture in Abuja, and she said they cannot fund a single farmer. It's very, very risky, especially if you're a smallholder farmer. It's very, very risky to give you that money because there are no guarantees. I had a discussion with some farmers from some aspects of, I've forgotten the places, a remote area in Ibadan. They came to my office. I talked about to them, how do you keep your farm records? Okay, now they're talking to me, who's running your business? They said that they have somebody. What if the person wants to hold up? Like, do you take inventory? Do you take stock? No. How do you run your business? The newspaper. My brothers and sisters, if you have 2 million naira of your own money to give somebody, and I'm telling you that this is how I'm keeping records, of course it's not possible, I'm not going to give it to me. So it's all about packaging. Okay? You don't have farm records. How many beds did they supply to you? How many hectares of land do you have? How many bags of maize? Everything has to be documented. Because for these guys to give you money, and like I said, apart from the fact that they will not fund individual farmers, if you have access to a cooperative and you package yourself well, believe me, like I'm telling you from experience, there is money on ground. It's just about packaging. I spoke to some of the BOA representatives yesterday and they said, how do you do it? Have a good business plan. And it's even better that your packaging or whatever is in the same value chain. By the time I'm a livestock farmer, he sells equipment, he does this one, and we're not even linked together. And we're coming as a cooperative to get loan, it might be very, very difficult. But by the time you say, okay, all the rice farmers in the Isheyin come together, have a cooperative, package yourself. And most of the cooperatives you have in Nigeria are usually based on once in a month meeting, contribute to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, they're taking loan, and I think we have access to better opportunities. So from my experience, how we package our business is actually help a lot. Like I said, there's money on ground, not only at the government agencies or the fintechs coming in. People like USAID, GIC, United Nations, the project I went for with Ms. Benson was sponsored by World Bank, and all these kind of things come into place. So basically, we found out that one of the major challenges most farmers had was my first point here, access to information on finance. How do you package yourself? It's not about the money. Do you have the farm records? Do you have the production capacity? Do you have even an idea of your expenses per month? Do you have an idea of your income per month? How much of your money, of your profit do you plow back into the next season? Not that you spend, maybe you borrow 500,000 naira, you raised about 1,000 beds for like 6 or 7 weeks, you sold them at 600,000 naira, you extra 100,000 naira, using it for Jai or for party or something else, and the next batch you're looking for another money. So don't you see that kind of track record? I've seen most farms or most cooperatives that at the end of the day, almost month on month, I've seen them with big checks on NTA News. And funny enough, most of them are in the north. It's not even about the fact, further character comes into place and all these other things, but some groups have taken it upon themselves to package these customers better. I cannot speak English, you cannot speak English, but we have something in common. I have farm, I know how to farm, but I don't have to sell myself to these people. You know how to farm, you don't have to sell yourself to these people. A young person like me comes in and says, okay, let's gather together, let's do this thing. Get the Google sheet or whatever, Excel sheet, arrange everything together. That way, you're a farmer, you have your name, your number, your location, and every other thing and everything. By the time you package it and present it to these guys, and you're standing in as a guarantor because you're the one in charge of them. And this is actually, I feel, how most of our cooperative leads or leaders, organization heads should package our businesses better. Like I said, there's always money on ground.
Is this your why? Why? Stretch your arm. Come on, let's. Why? Stretch it very well. Stretch it. Then the last four. Give yourselves a round of applause. Something I've also summarized from the last speaker is that when the farmer guarantees you a good standard.
You reason that is true.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Farmers are looking good now. Forget it, you look at the farmer up and
when you look at people passionate about when you're talking about passion and everything. And like the way I met my sister, not too long, but we related as if we met like almost 20 years ago. This is my brother we met like almost 20 years ago. We were in business together. So when I was growing up, I happened to grow up in the farm. Let me permit you to stand up in the system protocol. So when I was growing up, I grew up in the farm. My father used to be in farm. You know, that time when we have long holidays, like almost 3 months, and you have to leave and you have to go to farm. At times you eat morning food on the farm. And when you are going to the farm, during the rainy season, you know they won't cut all the pathways. Before you get to the farm, you're already soaked. So, and you're already soaked, and they won't even pity you, just go straight to the farm. And the kind of our farm is that we don't even have where to stay. You just enter the farm to work. When you want to eat, you eat under the trees. And when you spray this shit again, you go back to the farm. When you leave farm, maybe when it's a little bit dark, you won't be meeting what is okay. So that time I would say, this farming is a punishment. Never in my life, I will never do this kind of farming in my life. I was just praying that nothing will take me to farming. Because we look at some people who are doing 35 words per minute. Do you know the meaning of 35 words per minute? 35 words per minute, yes, you know it. All this, like someone said, okay, I think, Oshu, they don't train us on how to discover ourselves. The kind of training given to us was how to work for people. And that's what has been on our mentality, and we've forgotten that farming is the way to go. So, let me go back to the business. So, if I can do farming, or I can be in Nigeria and make it, so all the youth, so you have a better chance to make it. Don't extend the active power on the farm. Does not make even the youth who grow up in the rural area to be challenged. But if you increase the active period, that when you come back from farm at 6 o'clock, you are still going to recreate till around 11 o'clock. You have light, you have everything, you have everything working and everything, you have to drink one beer, eat pepper soup. So activities now goes round. I keep on telling people don't know what makes a Dubai different from other countries and what gave them that growth. Because the money that's supposed to enter one day business is entering almost in Nigeria that's supposed to enter one day business. It's entering almost a 5-day business in Nigeria. The reason why you wake up in the morning, you go to office or you go to the shop, you go shop around, maybe that will now shop where I want to say environmental. So you open that time. So by almost 2 o'clock or even 4 o'clock, you want to shop until you're late. But when you get to Dubai, by 6 o'clock, shop once is in Dubai. And when you even touch down from your plane by 8 o'clock in the evening, you can still do shopping that's supposed to be in following day till around 1 o'clock. So they've been able to extend the active hours to almost 24 hours. That's why you saw the development in that way. So money is supposed to be exchanging your value, and money is supposed to be exchanging hands. But in Nigeria, I'm sorry, it's only 20% that are working. The remaining 80% are living on 20%. That's why we cannot grow unless we change our mindset. For us to grow in Nigeria is difficult for us. The so-called rich people and the so-called people you are celebrating, what's the source of their income? What is the source of their income? So how do you want the youth now to perform? But the youth, you don't need to look at that because you have your own life. Everything is going to be changed. Because we are making money for service industries. We cannot grow. If you don't produce, if you don't research, if you don't develop, you won't grow. Someone produce something, you put your own cost on it, you want to sell, you put your own cost on it. So someone that's supposed to be like almost 10 naira, that's ended almost 25 naira. We are the one dividing our naira ourselves. I was part of the team that went to DRC on Nigerian Business Council meeting. From there I went to Togo. I led some youth to Togo to go and do exploration on all those things. When I get to Togo, I realized that even their currency is even more better than Nigeria. They are just $5.50 to $1, and one is almost $7.50 to $1. And let me tell you, I work in all African countries. They are looking at Nigeria, they are looking at us. The other time we were in Kenya together, both the Kenya woman, both the Kenya man, they say, we don't know why Nigeria is the heart of Africa. I was just looking, say, how many Nigerians are international business here? You dominated all the district. He said we dominated almost everything. Even the lady in Kenya was telling Madam O.O.K that if I want to come back next time to this life, I want to come back as a Nigerian man. Oh wow. Yeah, you get. Someone said, please look for a Nigerian man for me, so I want to rise. I even so all of them are saying, man, take our number. So you look at when we go to different African countries, they are still looking at us, but we don't look at ourselves. So let me go back to my slide. So my business was like almost 32 years ago. So what I was doing then was you have to be passionate about what you are doing, and you need to create a system to solve problems. Now people look for money. You don't look for problem, you look for problem. When you solve problem, people pay for easy. What you are in business. But if you don't identify the problem you are going to solve, there is one that used of that is money they are looking at. When I started my business with all those multinationals in 1991, at times when I go to UAC, I'll ask UAC, where are the parts that you cannot get locally? It's difficult for you to bring in from abroad. Let me see it. I'll go to Guinness, I'll go to Capri, I'll go to all the multinationals and I ask them. So there was nothing like an email, nothing like a telephone that you can order for immediately, all those things. So they have to send fax and everything. At times, when any machine breaks down in under UEC, it takes like almost another 4 months. But we can have some local materials to fix it up and get it done. That's what I was doing. I was looking for solution. Not just on a solution that cannot be done by other people. That's why I like to. Because if you try to invest and do something that cannot be done by other people, you'll be able to monopolize it for a period of time before you drop it. And when you do that one, you don't celebrate your success. And that's the mistake other people do. So when they make a landmark or they start celebrating, instead of going to go to the research room and be doing something better or where they are, that's why they keep on celebrating. Before they know it, the event has overtook them and they are at the back. It's like running now because you are in the front and you are not looking at. Before you look back, so those are the things, that mistakes that youth did. So when the youth make their first money, now the heat is like this. They start looking for land and want to build house. And land is not an achievement. House is not an achievement, let me tell you. Someone working in VI, instead for him to rent a house very close to VI, he now said because he got the money, he now went to Sanko. Sanko, you wake up in the morning around 4 o'clock. So he had already been on the way around 4 o'clock going to VI. When they close around 4 o'clock, he will still stay here because of traffic till around 6. By the time he gets to around 11, 12. So actively, he's not even resting at all. But if you have gotten that money and that manage, if you stay very close to your distance, your work, wake up in the morning, so between 30 minutes you get to work. So be able to think on other things. That's why some people, they grow older than their age. You can see that pot. I was inside the Dunlop. Dunlop was that bag you are seeing. It's a that's mobile workshop. All my Vena caliper, all my toolbox, all those measuring tool tape and everything, micrometer was in there. What I normally do is that when I meet with the engineer, I ask them the parts that have been damaging and people you have not been able to replace. Let me see that they now bring it out. I won't take it to sit down with it and take the measurement details and everything. Or they are having only one part and they are putting it inside the machine and bring it out and take the details and everything. Really I leave, I will not go home straight. I will now go to a rented workshop. You know our equipment at cost. Lathe machine, milling machine, the engineering tools are too cost. So I will now go to a rented workshop. So from there, maybe I'll get to that place around 6 o'clock. Those people will close around 7. So I will not take over the workshop from that time till morning. I will close around 4 o'clock. I will quickly go to my house. I'll get to house around 5 o'clock. I will shower a bit and have like 2 hours because I need to submit that job for them before 12 o'clock. Before they go on break. But if I allow them to go on break, that means I have to wait till after the break. So I will have to do and I get to. So immediately we give the end that works. You don't talk about the price. I leave them. So I come back after 2 or 3 days. As how far that thing is working. So when it's working, you now start negotiating price. So that's it. So that's all. So when you want to do farming, you don't need to do, just pick a particular service along the value chain. If it's planting operation, you know how to plant. That's what you are rendering for other farmers. If it's knapsack that you can buy, everything is less than almost 50,000 naira. You are big money. And that's what we train you how to do. You maintain weed management for other farmers. You can now realize that each day you can be making almost 5,000 naira. And when you work for 30 days, that's 150,000. Who can pay you 150,000? And you are working on your own times. Not that you can go to the farm where you need to go. The another thing is that you need to study the maturity of the weed. It's not the proportion of the chemical herbicide you say you should do. So you get, it's like the same food you want to give for a baby of 5 years. Is it the same food you are giving for? No. But they won't tell you that the recommendation dose is only you are using, so you can save a lot of money from all those aspects. So I set up Digi Lucas almost the fabrication. Then they realized that the food, the way we met the food, we didn't add value to it, we didn't discover another food, we didn't even develop another food. And most of the food we are eating is because of the limitations we have in the past when our father does not have any processing equipment to process. Yes. So that's why we now see it. That's why the crops see that food will be smelling. Food are not supposed to be smelling. No. But we're not used to it. When you eat food and you have to sit down watching it. So we don't need to go to the less food. If all those garlic that you saw with all those granules and everything, if they're having, it's supposed to be uniform. Our yam that you saw now, this yam is a waste. You know why it's a waste? Yam is not supposed to be bigger. My mother in the house will bear me with this. When you buy this yam, you won't finish it in a day, you cut part of it. By the time you come back, what happens with the other one? So why do our researchers need to develop yam? So we need to work for the yam seed and the mini set. So our yam does not really pick too much. Around 1 kg or 500 grams, that's the level at which you need to go into. So those are all those things we are looking at this, and that's what some of the youth can pick and do. When we started, we realized that we don't really have good tractors. Most of the tractors are cloned, and most of the people selling tractors, they want to make their money, and they don't even care about what kind of tractor they sell to farmer. That's why you say farmer buy tractor, and it's all paper. So how to work on how we can get good tractors and bring in SKG. Then I realized that most of the things I've been doing, we need to put it and document it for people to see. That's why I set up NESA, User Sustainable Agriculture. But before you do anything, you need to make an informed start. Don't assume knowledge. In agric, never assume knowledge. If you assume knowledge, you're going to fail. And that's why you see a lot of people failing. And the very day I saw this, my sister, the way she was so passionate about farming, I don't even know why it's even getting some of the funding it's using. Because it's using the energy I was using almost 20 years ago. I think, like he said to Madam Yagambia, we normally call Madam Yagambia because when I knew her, Oga was still in Gambia together. So I think years back. So she was so passionate about agriculture's commodity and some other things. So that's one of the people that they just want to see the Nigeria to the next level. So we have a Lipos hotel. That one is just use it to hospitality, you know. I don't want to borrow money. And I want to get my business to billions. How do I do it? I need to create a soft landing, which is a business. It's good, but it's not challenging. I mean, I don't like anything that is not challenging. So, hospitality, I have the first eateries in Osho, and the first nightclub in Osho State, the first public pools, the pool and everything, and garden, so that you can, you know, so repose. So, any little money I gather from here, I take it to the farm. Any little money I gather from engineering, I take it to the farm to develop the business because I don't want to start borrowing money. And that's why I tell a lot of youth, when you want to develop business, loan is not the best thing to do. You say, no, the bankers are in the other easy. They are not telling you to come and take the loan to start the business. Tí ó bá ṣe káwọn náà owó yẹn kọ́ ló máa fi ṣe business. Àbí wọ́n lè ṣe àwọn náà lè máa wọ súùtù olówó làwọn náà máa business náà. Èyí dẹ́ direct money from you. That's why they tell you that if they want to do it, they should not be borrowing money, they should be part of the business. Káwọn náà sọ wọ́n ṣe kẹ́kẹ́ tó pẹ̀lú ẹ̀jẹ̀ báńkì. Etiquette. So you now want the banker will now be calling you, all your profit will give it to them. Even the collateral, everything goes down. So if you don't find solution to it for in in Nigeria, we are not ripe to now be borrowing money from the bank to all those things. So what I do for all the youth is that you need to work together. You need to network and cooperate. If you are good in one aspect, you are good in fight for you, keep yourself together. Write a proposal and you do this, you do. Instead of employing 10 people to do the job, 5 people are there, you have to do it together. So that's why you now make more money to invest back to the business. But if you are saying any little you want to do, you want to write business plan. There's something like business plan. I call it practical plan. Because 2 years ago, did I know that this is going to be selling for almost how much now? 800. So if I develop a business plan based on almost 200, how are you going to break even? How are you going to break even? And the bank will not listen to you. They'll be talking to you as if they're the one that. So a lot of things that we need to develop ourselves and we need to know. So next slide. And I beat the wall. I was using that wall to rent during the week. During the weekend, we turned it to club. So we're making a lot of, because that was only nightclub then. And even the DJ there, I was the one controlling the DJ. I will go inside DJ, people are not dancing, they change the music. I'll be looking, so you know all those things. I was running from Lagos to Osogbo, so every week, so I would just be on the road like, so making money is not easy. And I wonder that some of the youth, you are not even using that time for anything. You are not using your time for anything, either playing game, playing this thing. You are not adding anything for yourself, you are not developing yourself, and you are wasting the time. So make sure that the time you are spending here, you can't get anything, is a waste for you. So any place you are going there, you are not going to gain anything. Why going there? Ask yourself, what am I going to do if I'm going to get to this place? Am I going to be double? Am I going to gain anything? So all those things, you need to be asking yourself. So you don't just do anything for fun. So next. So that's when I was having my fast food. That's when I was having my nightclub. This garden at the club I did. Next. So this, when I started Nature Foods, so producing from farm, so I developed the machine, I researched on the food, I did all this, it was a lot. So later we sent to starch line, I call it cassava starch, gari, all the food. See, when you have multiple products, and you develop a multiple things to happen, you are not going to be under stress. You are not going to have either any blood pressure or any thing because you are not stressing yourself to do anything. So what I do in my business is that I get it. The Mario machine, I won't be at the mercy of anybody. Now you are living. Some people, they've created a kind of lifestyle that they cannot meet, and they are not working to meet that along the line. So why setting a lifestyle for yourself? So you have to know that. So then I think I said we are going to work with you now, Charles. On we are setting up the new feed now to take almost 120 tons of feed. And we are putting 120 tons of feed per day. So all those farmers with maize and everything, I think O.O.K will supply some of the maize. And any intended people that want to sell our feed, we intend to produce one of the best feed at a reduced rate, so our people can benefit from it. Go back. So the first guy I fry in Nigeria, I design it and I make it. So before that, people start copying. So it's my brand. So for also, people believe that you cannot use mechanical to fry like that. No. So we just remove the water at the temperature. You can do it. So that's how we have garlic fry. Not only in Nigeria, we do it all over African country, and we are doing it. Next. This is some of the design that we made for starch and flour. So it's not only the Weibo that we do it, we can develop and make all those things too. So we have been doing it. It's not in other part of African country. Next, under Meiji Lucas. These are some of our food that I told you that we develop. That's a small one, carry like a portion control. That you can actually put some carton and eat, and you can do a souvenir and share. So those are all those things. And when he came, he stayed like almost maybe around 4 hours with me, busy talking and everything. So anything you are doing, don't do it for anybody, just do it for yourself and make sure that you solve people's problem and you share your knowledge. At times when I'm sharing my knowledge, some people say, you are sharing your knowledge, when they copy it, I say copy what? They do they copy, some people say, you are telling them what you are going to do, when they copy what? So more you say it out, the more God give you another one. So that's it. And only key ọkùnrin rédíò kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ pa rédíò mọ́tì lọ. If I have an idea, I say it, another person does it. At least someone will be able to do the idea. The idea is carried on. That's it. So next. So these are 2016. I just got a letter that the African entrepreneur from all over the world that you need to be part of it in the US, all expense paid. I say, okay. This family too, I will go. So, so next. So this when I was in IITA, that machine you saw, they are trying to develop a single machine that can perform like 25 different operations on the farm. And they have been able to do it. When I was asking history, they told me that their forefather was a farmer and he was even a blacksmith in the US. So they were now developing that blacksmith to a level after they left it. Later they came back to it. And this is the way they have been able to develop a machine that can perform almost up to 20 operations on the farm. They call it TMO. So next. So this when I was trying to say most of the waste we generate from the farm, how can we use it to generate energy or anything? So I went to Australia to meet with them. They say yes, they can. I invited to Nigeria, they took the sample and everything, and they are working on it so that most of the waste will not just be wasted and it will be really useful. Even yesterday I still had a meeting with some people from I think US, UK, that most of the waste generated on the farm can we make it a batch so that they can use to even provide water in the village. See, some of the youths, actually because of the government policy, some of the youths are not employable. They are not employable. When they come, you do the interview, you give them job to do, they now realize that do you really go to school? What do you really study? What value do you see? You are coming to work with me. What value are you bringing? What value are you bringing? You are not looking for my own value. And then I have a farm, I have a good cutlass, I have a file, I have a gun seed. So the way you clear the land, the number of seeds you plant, and that's what you're going to eat. So don't because you work with me, it's what you work with me. Let me do analysis. When you work with me, you are like a car, a taxi, that the driver take out to go and also. But because you don't pay me, you're going to pay delivery when you come back. But if you don't also you just park in one car parlor train. What are you going to bring when you come back? Nothing. Will I give you that thing the following? No. But if you work well, you make the delivery, you make money for yourself, you make money for me to pay back, and you make extra. That means you're in business. That's how each human beings are alive. So when you invest on you buy land for almost 500,000, but the same land you can lease it for 10,000. You have almost 90,000 to still work on that farm. Why buy the land? You can only buy the land when you want to do processing. Because day in, day out, that land, you are not going to carry it. The landowner need to realize that when they want to see anybody that want to give land, this is at a reduced rate. Even when you see some more people are leasing land, it's too arbitrary. They just call it 10,000, 20,000 per acre. Final processor. So take for like Gardena. Build you know how to go into the value chain. So I may have the training to do the value chain, but I still want to break it down. So I may have 50 people working for me and process. For the past almost 32 years now, I've been not been able to break it down because I want to get job for. Madam, I want to work with you without collecting money. So I won't say no. But when you work a week, 2 weeks, I see that you are performing better than the staff, you will start putting money on you. I will start paying you. So that's it. Then you can start with aggregation. If you don't have the real money, you can be buying and be selling. So then you raise the capital to the level. When you are doing that one, you are understanding the business. So next. I think I'm done having. So this is some of the job we've been able to do. And that's part of the work we've been able to do for the past year. So thank you.
Right, keep clapping, keep clapping. I love you all. And for you see how a doctor cares for the patient. The crops are your patient. If you care for them, they will care for you. 2, you must be patient. It is not a fast food. When we return to Nigeria, if you go to UK, what brought us back to Nigeria? There wasn't any reason for us to come back. Go to all the stores, produce of Kenya, produce of Ghana, produce of this. We'll not see produce of Nigeria. That was what brought us closer to Egypt. I think I should say it's almost the first product of Nigeria that entered UK on a registered level. So you must be very patient. There are a lot of people join me into farming. Most pastors who want to farm, we failed again. When I call them, say, God forbid, they are not going again. That year, I planted about 50,000, seed yams. I got a little. The next time I planted 250,000. But now all of them are giving up. But they come to me today for food. So you must be patient. The moment you give up, your failure starts. At that moment you give up, your failure starts. So there is need for you to make up your mind to say, I will succeed with farming. I've never gone to market to buy cream in my life. Nobody believes I'm a farmer. They are saying that, my wife has spoken so much about it. Actually, I'm terribly engaged today that I had to push it to be here because he said you will see the drive. He said there is something that drives the woman. So that's why I'm here. And I can see it myself. So if she says somebody has the energy, I like to be associated with that person. So you need to be very, 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 very patient. And in farming, 3 things. The stuff you have to know in farming is that farming is timing. And timing is farming. Maize has 3 months lifespan. It cannot exceed it. There's nothing that you make maize after 3 months and now begin to grow again. What does it need to grow within that 3 months? Give it to it, it will give you what you want. What does it need? The major thing that maize needs is water. 4th thing I want to tell you that I have a lot of people in my church that go to work, women, for 15,000, 20,000 a month. And they can't live. I can't understand. They can't live it for anything. Some 15, some 11,000. An acre of farm that is properly cultivated. Properly cultivated. I mean, just take 1 acre of farm. It takes 35,600 stands of maize, properly planted in the right population. And that is for 3 months. You wait when the rent is established. Assuming that you just take care of that, you have 35,600 stands of maize. And you multiply by 20 naira. In 3 months, you have 700,000. Assuming, like what I do, when we live here now, you may not recognize me again. Because there was a day a man was passing through, I said, don't pass here. I said, Muvajari, what kind of a thing is it? Did you put no trespass here? So the boss was not coming. His boss packed his legs up. So I said, Daddy, he prostrated. The man looked at this, how tattered I look, everything. He opened mouth, he couldn't close it. Your boss that employed you was prostrating for me. And I told him, I go around this world. I'm far educated. I can't count the number of degrees. I'm far educated than you. But you see, you don't judge a book by its cover. Now listen, I want to give it just for my wife because of time. During question, ask any question. If you come to the church, I've been in Nigeria now for 6 years. All my life I lived abroad. Even where I grow the fruit, I brought my first fruit from my farm to Adagio's
and Mommy Gio. Do you know what? You can't complain. Let me give you one example. I'm growing yam now in bags around my church. Within the church premises, I planted 5,000 tubers. Within the premises, it was a dump site when I came. I spent close to $1 million evacuating. Even my wife then didn't understand what she didn't see what I was saying. She said, why do you always trouble yourself? But you know, during COVID, from in front of the church, selling vans to Osun State, I made 1.4 million. Selling potato vans, orange fleshy potato. Now, you can grow yam in your house. Concrete or no concrete makes no difference. Within my house now, within my office, I've grown a garden. Inside the garden, I have about 52 bags of filled with the yams will be ready by next month. I was watering and it had grown. Now, a bag, cement bag, a dozen is 500 naira. To buy 3,000 bags, you know, about 83,000 naira, 85. A trip of sand that you need is 50,000 naira. Then you can go to any place to pack out or mix it. By the time you just plant 1,000 bags of yam, one just put water there, it's not crying. That is, you don't have problem of weed. Any little thing that you can remove it. The vegetables we eat will grow it. Any single thing will grow. Our problem is how to even finish what you have grown. But we are talking about business aspect of the issue. You can make it fast and very fast. So if you just spend a little kind of money and back those things now, there's no excuse for failure. There's no excuse for failure. You can succeed in farming. Passion is key. And I want to thank you for not looking at government and maybe not 50% promise. They're coming to lecture 1 or 2 times in your academy. I'll come. And if you need the youth, I can help you mobilize them.
Thank you.
If you need 5,000, I'll give you.
Thank you.
I'm in charge of agriculture and entrepreneurship in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, the whole of the state. So we can work and collaborate together. So it's a practical thing. That's one. Anybody here, you can start snail farming before the end of the year. With 100 snails, before the end of the year, you can have over 500 eggs. There's so much to be done. Because we are limited by time, I won't want to take your time. You know, there's something about an Igbo man. Let me give you a secret. If an Igbo man comes into this place, he's looking for business. He doesn't look for work. He can start selling pure water on the road, but inside the heart, I want to start my business very soon. They're doing that work just to raise money to start. But when because I've lived my life in Yoruba land. I've socialized in Yoruba land since 1980. I did my youth service, my orientation here then, in those days when you have money in your state. They look for work. Mr. Niji says sometimes some people are not employable. He didn't go to school to go and train to be looking for work. The purpose of education is for critical thinking. Period. Ability to use. I read English. Last year I grew 250,000 tubers of yam. This year we are growing 1 million. I suffer so much in the hand of the Benin. Okay, I have workers from the Republic. No single one from Nigeria. They make the hips. I fed them for 1 year. When they were going, I bought motorcycle for each of them. You didn't see, do you know what? The few Nigerians that are working for us, it's the same people here that say, they are just serving him. They just, okay, even when all of them leave, they will not even, there's nothing alternative they are giving them. So that mindset had to change. Because I could see, maybe if I say there's any one person here, there may not be. But I'm talking to our people here because I'm part of this place. I live all my life here. My wife is here. All my children bear your name. That mindset has to change. An Igbo man can serve his Oga for 15 years. We don't see it as anything. But you don't do it here. There are people that pollute their minds. And again, here people find it difficult to support those who want to start. In Igbo land, we are not in competition with anybody. It's a joy to say, this person has settled in to start business. But the opposite is the case here. I want you to be helping each other with capital and things like that. How do you raise capital? When this, my wife, you see now, she lives in the air. But let me tell you, there was a time when we wanted to start business. We didn't have the capital. What did we do? We decided that we are not going to eat meat for 6 months. She said she will be cutting her hair like my own. I said, and as at that time, I want to believe that she has, then we are young in marriage. She had only about 3 or 4 that we had. One of them was tall like this. I said, why not throw this one away? He said, are you not the one that will say, then remove your cloth? And I said, do you know what? We saved the money for her to buy the first laptop. Later at the point when God has helped us, people said, Daddy, just allow mommy to be flying all over the world. I said, you don't know her story. You don't know her story. And I want to tell you that so long as you have a good family set, you are not in competition with anyone. When we reduced Oakland Best, I had 60%. But I removed my eyes from Oakland Best. And she's in charge of Oakland Best. She has the majority share, whether 90 or 8, I don't care. Huh? 71. I don't care. It's only a man that is incompetent that feels threatened. Don't be threatened by the success of a woman. Don't. They manage things. They are good managers. They can manage. I cannot cook soup, maybe with 10,000. My wife can cook soup with 5,000. And it will taste better than when I cook with 40,000. So let's give them that privilege to rise. Don't be threatened by the rising of a woman. I'm telling you honestly. So she will take over. During question and time, I will tell you how to raise funds. Or maybe I just say, if you want to raise money here, write 20, don't go to bank as Niji said. If you are somebody of character, list, depending on what you want. If you come to me now for 1 million, I may not be able to give you. But I can give you 50. I can give you 30. List 10 people that you know that are in a position to give you 50,000. Go and share your dreams with them. Don't go to a man for everything that you need. Distribute it. By the time you go after going around for that 20 people, 10 will give you. Go and start with it and show dedication. Tell them I'll be accountable. I will tell you how I'm spending it. In fact, show a template how you're going to use the money. And build trust. Because the foundation of every relationship is trust. If you cannot be trusted, then forget it. So she will continue with the plan. There's another thing, I will take it.
Can you help me to appreciate Pastor? Can you help me to appreciate him? And I didn't see you are not yet doing that at all. Please, let's change situation. We can change the narration. We can make it better. What is the percentage of the woman ownership? Who are the managers? Who are that? This and that. I said, Daddy, this is what is trending now. I said, what is it? I said, you can change it. In fact, it took us almost 2-3 years for me to do it. I will say, okay, the company has written until I had to file for it, and we changed it from whatever it was for me to be 71, and he has a lesser percentage.
I don't even know what it is. I'm not even interested.
Anyway, to cut the long story short, I'm sure we have all learned from the lessons, and it's always easier to learn more from those lessons and to let us know there is more that we can all do together as daddies and mommies in the house and the society. Let's allow our girl child to be properly trained. There's no room or reason for you to say because it's a girl child, she should not go to school. Please. Even if I know most people that are here will not do that. But help me to pass it across, disseminate the information. I was in a meeting a few days ago with Ibukwawoshiga, Mrs. Because I don't like to disregard people. And when she started telling us about her background and risk that she took in order to be where she is today, you will not believe she took a loan at about 70%. Yes, she used her mouth to say it. And by the time she finished the contract and everything, she has been paying for how long? At the last point, she still had like 900,000 from the million naira she took. That is telling you how bad the story is. I did the same. I did 60%. So we have record, yes.
Yes.
There, when you meet women that are really women, we have that. I don't want to use negative words, but the easiest way for Yoruba or anybody to interpret is there is a level of madness in you that it will be difficult for an ordinary person to understand. And she used the word some days ago as insane. That's the word she used, and truly that is the word. It will look insane to you, some things I do. It will be. It will look insane for a woman to go and take a 1 million naira at 70% 35 years ago. Yes, and at the time she finished, you know the level she's operating from today. So when you see people who want to go far, there is that something in them that is propelling them. It's not food, and it is not physical cash. For me, one of the things that excites me, like they asked, is research. I don't have so much, but I pump in money into it. And I'm sure she too, she read, I'm sure you can do as little you can do in your corner. Let's do whatever we can do in our corner to affect other people around us. Your small money can send another person to school to do masters and do a research for you in that line that you are looking into. Yeah. Do you get it now? So you are doing what? Scholarship? Call it CSR? Call it social impact? Call it any name. As Africans, we do a lot, but we don't register it. Niji put every information down, and my brother from Dr. Charles said record. That record we don't keep is one of the major problems. If you don't know how to keep record, make sure you have a business account and you dispense from that business account. The auditors can pick that account tomorrow and help out. But when you don't do that, you make it even much more difficult for yourself. No matter what I cannot remember, I know that when the statement is out, you'll be able to figure out where it is. Are you getting my point now? Because the whole thing is looking so different. We have seen, I've done a lot of research, I can tell you between 60 and 80% are women in every farm industry, in every country, in every continent. And the women are always at the bottom of the pyramid. And it's so pathetic. And another thing I'm fighting now, because I kept saying it for the 3 days we were in Ghana, that listen, I'm not happy because you people keep saying SME are only these people that speak English in this school. What about those people that didn't go to school and their intelligence are much more than my own? They are more than mine. You've not seen people who didn't go to school that did more than 10 houses, genuine business? Yes. They don't have records, do they? Must be deliberate to see that there is a change of narration in our society. We are all gifted in different ways. My husband is the pastor. Yes, I was ordained, but there are gifting that I have. Can look into the future and tell you what will happen. When I started preaching in the church that we are going to go into cashless situation more than 5 years back, I will stand at the altar and I will say at offering time that this offering that you people are bringing, one day will come. Nobody will collect this cash from your hand. It sounds like a prophet of the doom. Where have you come from? How can you say we will not collect offering again in church? Are we not facing it now? Is it not the same? It is. That's the way God works with me. I can tell you, most things they will ask me, I must have prepared it. Something will just happen. Did you I say, yes, I just did. I have the record, and I'll show it. And you are all gifted in one way or the other. I'm serious about it. In 1998 in Gambia, God said to me that He has not left any nation without resources to sustain it. When that word of prophecy came, just as I said it was how it came. He was there. Another pastor and the wife was there. We're four one evening as we were strolling. That statement came out. And they all look around. The other couple said, there's nothing in Gambia, we're going back to Nigeria. I said, I'm not going anywhere because God has said He has not left any community without some things to sustain.
And you know what? In the same place she's talking, I grew food there. Rainfall in the Gambia is just 3 months.
In a year.
In a year. Within that 3 months, they grew everything they want to eat, everything they will eat. Within that 3 months, just June, July, August, September is gone. But they grew the food. You know, the issue is that there's some, like she said, I don't know, maybe I can now say, when my wife relate with somebody, I want to know the person, honestly. So I can see that level of madness, whatever they are talking about. Yes, that thing, that drive to get this.
The antecedents have been saying, both of us, Lara and Lara, you need to meet each other. So when we go for any function, they must put us together. Then we belong to the same.
So I want to talk to women here. Don't allow anybody to determine how far you go. And don't subject yourself to an incompetent leadership. It doesn't help. So what is there is this. Like, let me tell you, for instance, for the young people, because in their mind is money, 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 money. When I leave university, I'm from the East. I wanted to be a smuggler. I went around all the boundaries of Oyo State. Before in the course, God gripped me, said, this is not what I called you to do. So I saw a lot of land. Oyo State has land, uncultivated. Just take only one. Let's just give you an assignment as you leave this place. Go and take 1 acre of land. And somebody, you know the issue is that you need to postpone your gratification. Whenever somebody, my children went on holidays in Abuja, their auntie gave them 50,000 or all those stuff. When they came, they said, they are going to shop right. I said, no, you go to shop bush. Go and shop in the bush. I use that money to grow 1 acre of cassava for each one of them. And from that 1 acre of cassava, at least each of them will make about 250,000 naira. So you need to postpone your gratification. Now, if you plant an acre of maize and get 300,000, because at the spacing of our 75 and cm and all those on the road like that, you have minimum of 35,000 that does not have tree. If you successfully monitor it, one man said that he doesn't believe in don't put all your eggs in one basket. He said he will put all his eggs in one basket and watch it. Because before you break one, you must kill him first. So you need to pour your life there, assuming that you have it correctly. You need about, let's say, 100, 120,000 to do that.
Yes, so, but since that's so, you know, I just wanted to buttress what you are saying.
Okay.
Based on what we are doing
yes.
in-house. You know, you are just gave an analysis on 1 acre of
yes.
farmland, and you've given the figures out
yes.
and all of that. So what we are doing with, when we're having testimonial from people that attended last year, and Pastor came up to speak, is that maybe you help them do the analysis as well. For every student that has gone through our agribusiness course, which thanks to OISADA is now 25,000 naira, you know that is nothing. Mm-hmm. So for every student that has been trained, or that will still be trained on how to cultivate yes. maize, we are even leasing the lands out to them for free for a season.
Wow.
So you could help speak on that,
yes.
sir. Thank you.
Now, what I'm saying is, like, if I live here now, and you wouldn't know me. Yesterday I went to buy my knapsack. All my workers they have. I have my own. Because I noticed I'm a woman in the farm. So I had to go and get my own knapsack to do it. Assuming you have that 35,600 stacks of meat, and you sell it at 2029, you can imagine what you have. Now, assuming that you go a step further, there's a boy, I don't know who was talking, I don't know whether you or him that talks about packaging. You, packaging, yeah. I saw a brother, asked him, what do you do? He said he's into fast food. So one day I saw him under a tree, Do you know what he was doing? He was frying akara. But they call it fast food. Yeah, it's not fast food. So assuming now a bag of charcoal from where we can is about, let's say, 10,000. You just take 2 women, put them under, and be supplying them that maize. There is no maize you buy in Nigeria now that you buy 59. You plan it. You have to plan it. As your maize is coming out, you've already recruited women that will do it for you. And you're supplying, they're selling. You're supplying, they're selling. You're supplying, they're selling. You make, from that, you can make up to 1.5 million from that 1 acre of land. So this is practical. I don't believe in so much theory. I don't believe in it. Go take me to your farm. If you come, it's in my phone now. Okay, it should be there. I will show you the yam I harvested within the church circle. Because of the problem I suffer with Benin Republic people, and I have a machine that did the drilling. That machine makes 10 holes under 1 minute. It's in the phone. I don't know if there's a way you show things like that here. You send it to them. You will see it under a minute. It will drill about 10 holes, let's say 5, under a minute. All you need to do, within this place alone, one, you maximize the need. It talks about plant population. Because you can come to a farm, you see maize. You think there's something there. But they put one here, they put one there, they put one there. You talk about managing the space. Some of us that export yam to UK or to any other place, your yam should be 1 kg to 2.5 kg. You factor all those things into consideration. You put it there. By the time you drill the hole and place it there, wow. Now I'm not going to buy motorcycle for any farmer this time around. Only one person handling the machine, and within 3 days, he had made about 5,000 holes and I've planted. Tell me how I'll be poor. Tell me. You know? So, is it? And now you roast your maize yourself. In that time, she has to suspend pride. Pride for what? Go to work. We saw a pastor selling maize. What is the problem? Which offense have I committed?
I think the round of applause should go to Oakland West. Because what was displayed here is nothing but leadership. It's just pitiable that we have a lot of people that are called leaders today that do not have the trait of leadership. But what I see here is nothing but leadership. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Up youth. I know that my youth would understand how to respond. So learn from them. Up youth. And say action. Maybe you're not eating, Abby. I'm sure OOK is well prepared for you. A round of applause for OOK. You see, we find ourselves in a community where excellence is really not appreciated. And anytime we see excellence, I think it is just a normal thing for us all to acknowledge it and to applaud it. So please give the management of OOK, led by Mr. Moraya, a round of applause for putting this program together. We are going to see organizations that want to do stuff like this. If the government has not given them a dime, they will not do anything. Because they will believe that the government is supposed to do it. And I actually say something that as much as we continually wait on the government to do everything for us, then we will realize that we will not achieve anything. Because the government is in an island. Ladies and gentlemen, not even ladies, I want to be sentimental. Gentlemen, young men, you need to understand that when you are building your future, please look into that future carefully and get the best kind of woman into that future. It is very, very key because no one knows how long you're going to be on this planet Earth. People would say, you, Kazim, you're a socialite, you're an outgoer. How would you go and marry a Malama? And I would be like, because this is my life when you see. I can be a socialite, but the most paramount in my life is my religion. That's number one. And how I want to see my children in the nearest future really matters a lot to me, because I don't know how long I'm going to live in this life, even though I pray for a long life, and I pray for all of us too. But it's very, very key. What I'm just trying to say before delving into what I'm talking about, but me, I've started giving my own lecture anyway, is that you have served as a great example, not just to me, but to all of us today, whereby a man is complimenting the woman, and the woman is complimenting the man. Even with the way they talk here, when the man wants to come in, the woman she just gets meals automatically. And when she wants to come in, Baba will get meals automatically. There is no touching, there is no dance or there is no show, but there is no calm down. There is no exhibit the kind of nonsensical thing you will see, family exhibit in the house. So, you know what it means? It means there is this intrinsic communication and understanding between both of you. It is very, very paramount. I don't know if Mrs. Svensson is a fan of my governor, but I am a fan of my governor. I call him the good governor for your state because he's the best governor I've ever had. You know, he is the definer of good governance and modern politics, and it is why we are here today. If you like, you do your head like this. I've defined who my governor is, and he is our governor. If you love Governor Seyi Makinde, you round of applause for him. Alright, so I appreciate you, our director, and every eminent personalities here seated. I think you want to ask this question. Is there anyone that has not eaten today? Anybody? Nobody. Thank you. Which means everyone here has eaten, right? Is there anyone that has not taken water or something today? Right? It means that we all have benefited from agriculture, right? Going forward, we know that without agriculture, we cannot exist. Because agriculture is the means through which we all sell food on our table, right? And I was reading sometime and I come across something. The Agriculture Organization of the United States said that the food that is being eaten everywhere in the world is produced by 70% of the food that is being eaten everywhere in the world is produced by the small farmers. So if 70% is being produced by the small farmers, then what is the big farmers doing? So I really want to capitalize on the small farmers, right? So people would say that if they don't have the capital to start big, they will not start anything. Trust me, if you don't start small, you may not start anything. One more time, please give a round of applause.
One thing I'll say positively, which I say everywhere about the government, is that the government is approachable. And the moment a government is approachable, half of the problem is solved. And just on that, we give it to the government. I speak for myself, for O.O.K Farms, and like my However, because this sort of opportunity doesn't come all the time. We were here last year, right, with jam-packed field hall. There was no government representative. Now, it's an improvement. Today, we have government representative in your person from the Ministry of Youth and Sport and from OISADA, Ministry of Agric. So that is when you know if a government is approachable or if a government listens or not. So as I said, we give that to the administration. However, we want to use this medium. Maybe please, mommy, daddy, prof, please join me while we say this so it doesn't look like I'm speaking just for myself. However, are you with us, that represent? We want to employ, and I'll also maybe give you the mic, Governor Makinde, our governor in Oyo State. I proudly walk everywhere I go in the world and say, I'm from a state that is not poor. I am convinced beyond all reasonable doubts that Oyo State can feed Nigeria. Am I wrong? Conveniently. Oyo State can feed West Africa. We just are not getting our priorities right. But we have seen from the governor's body language and from all that, please sir, you can join us, all that OISADA is doing, that this governor understands the wealth in this state, what God has given to us in Oyo State. But we need him to do it through the right channels. I really wish that Uncle Niji was still here. You know, and the first thing they need to do is this issue of triple, is that anything like triple taxation? Triple, multiple, thank you sir, multiple taxation in our own warehouse in Oyo, from that Oyo to Ibadan. I'm ticket to 7 times, kilo there. So if we're making, I'm here today, OOK has gone out of our pocket, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to address it at the end of the program. Even Uncle Niji mentioned it, how we're getting funding. We don't have the money, but it is the passion. We have asked this youth to come out today to say go into agriculture. But I'm operating in Oyo State where my container of soya, if I'm making 50,000 naira on it, before it leaves Oyo State, the government had collected 15,000 out of that 50,000. Exactly. I mean, they are all under Oyo State. If Uncle Niji were still to be here, Niji Group that spoke, the main guest speaker, he will tell you how much he pays on pay one ticket, pay one tractor from Ibadan to Okpara. I can go on and on, because you know yourself and some other people feels that, oh, Omolara do not like our government. No, I don't have a problem with the government. In short, I appreciate the government. One of the things that I said to people during election is that I will vote for this government because at least he's approachable. You can tell him, Governor Makinde, and he would listen. So I will leave the mic for Pastor Mrs. to say one or two things, the challenges we are facing, so that these youths that had attended today would even be more motivated to say, yes, we want to go into agriculture in Oyo State, because Oyo State has no business having one unemployed youth. Thank you.
And in addition to what you said, thank you, we have Orisada here. I would like you to equally portray on how the government has trained over 3,000 youth at Nasarawa, and if we have such training again in the pipeline, and again, how these people can benefit. I don't know. I want to believe they were taken in accordance to the local government, but again, I think there should be some sort of slots given to registered companies with you, such as OOK and OK Farms and many more, you understand, because they have multitude of youth, you know, working with them, training under them, learning from them, and working in collaboration with them. So that you don't just sound like a political sharing, you understand, you get, so that's the way to get across, you get, our benefit to the grassroots, with everyone all encompassing. Do you understand? Yes.
Thank you very much. As you know, that one of our key products in Oklahoma is shea butter. I want my governor to please give attention to shea butter. Shea butter is shea gold. It's the gold given to us we don't realize. It's in comparison with cocoa butter. And the GERGP that we can raise at the end of the day is so enormous. It's in food. It's not being used like palm oil. It's not being used like cocoa butter. It's an alternative for cocoa butter. It's used in chocolate, it's used in so many other things. The aspect we know is the cream aspect, which is just like 10%. The confectionery level of shea butter is in 90%, which means in another 10 years, it has been given that 5.5 billion will be in that line of business.
Wow.
And another pain for me is that Niger State makes it look as if they are the owner of shea butter in Nigeria. So all the project that comes into the country goes to Niger State. Though we were privileged by a project that came in CBI, shared Nigeria by Netherlands government, we were selected. and we are working, they are training to see how we can get into European markets. But when we went to Barcelona in March, we were told that they want refined butter, which you can hardly say we have in Oyo State. All we have is our women. You will see this place. You see our women working. We need to move from this level. It will not stop the women from working. Whatever the women produce, we will still off-take, we will refine, or we use it like that for cosmetics, for where you are asked to produce 100 tons per month to supply. Just one buyer needs 100 tons per month. We have buyers that are looking for 500 metric tons. And we have to share it among the 12 companies that has been selected by Netherlands. So we need just to talk one-on-one so that we can explain the status of things and help us to know that this and this has to be done. The women, they have land in their vicinity that we can increase the population of the trees. The trees have been falling down to make mortars and charcoal. I have pictures, I'll still show us later. You know, all those things are very, very painful to us. I go around the world and I say I'm from Ibadan, the intellectual city of Nigeria. When I said everybody, even when I said it to Mrs. Sawoshika some days ago, she said, they've not thought of that. I said, yes, Ibadan is the intellectual city of Nigeria. True or false? Every first thing is here. The research institutes are here. I was born and raised in Idishi, between forestry and IITA. So what do you expect to be in my brain? Research. That's it. All my life I live within those trees. So you can't take me out of it. So, but that is the truth. Every corner you look, you see the first research institute, you see the research of this is here, done here in this same Oyo State. So we need to take it further. We need to take it further. Yes.
Please, if you have it to just say it so that
So would you allow me? Can I go? Please, would you allow me? Again, a closed mouth at times is a closed destiny. So that I will not use my mouth to close my destiny. Yes, sir. Check your Yoruba. You don't want to come out push you, sir.
He knows that in Yoruba.
You don't want to come out push you. My push you. No, my push you. My push you. Come out push you. Come out push you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Anybody that is dealing with international trade will tell you Nigeria is not competitive. When Ghana will be sitting in their factory with the support they needed, why you are now tying down your capital with equipment, and where is the money to trade again? So there are so many factors that are putting us behind. The second one is that once you hear that it's for export, people will just raise the figure for you. I don't know how it is. A particular market, they are selling gari at 340. I was telling that in Ibadan, the same gari is sold for 650. Yes. How are we going to do it? We need to talk about it. How are we going to be competitive? Gari in the local market, go to Bodija, is what? 650. And I want to export the same gari and I quote 600. Somebody is quoting 340. So these are the things, factors. So many things, those are the factors that are affecting our income as a nation. If I'm affected, you are affected. Do you understand that kind of thing? If I'm affected, you are affected. If you are affected, I'm affected. So we need to talk to ourselves and look at it. The clearing of the farm itself, the cost of clearing. And you know, because we're blessed with spring water, we have forests. Where will an ordinary person go and use 14 million, 28 million clearing 100 hectares of farmland? The road network is not good. By the time you are coming out, you are sinking in the vehicle.
In fact, I have 250 cars somewhere at
We should let's go and use it.
We can't even.
Is it in Opara?
No.
No, why I'm saying that she's talking about road network, and I want to let you know of the impact. How about we plant about 100 acres of cashew there, and to assess that farm, it's only my Land Rover that can go there. So we have land. There's so much that you have to take into consideration. I just want to strengthen what she's saying. And again, she mentioned something like climate, whatever. It is one of the benefits of what I'm telling you now. You don't even need to go to farm where, they're considered dirty, where you can go and be looking clear. Go and buy bags. Start from where and take one open field. Let them dump it for you. Their watering is easier. Everything is easier. You start from there. Just part of, so that what they are saying should not just put you off. Large scale farming, because if you don't get you don't see people to work with, you cannot access irrigation material. There are other ways that you can do. Be creative. I just want to.
Cluster work is the solution. Cluster work. Look for people that you understand each other. I'm not talking about whether you are speaking Yoruba or English. Understanding each other. That is, when you say something, the person is interpreting it correctly. Because those are issues of life that we all face from one corner to another without realizing. Somebody will say something, you are interpreting that something wrongly in your own heart. That's not what the person is saying. So you must look for people that you understand each other's language. Or somebody you believe in. If he says go, you will go. Stand, you will stand. You can work, yes. You can now begin to work together. That is why there will not be problem. But if somebody is saying something, your heart is interpreting it anyhow, or you are imagining, let me go and find out whether what that person is saying is true or not. You don't have business with each other. Leave it. Look for people that you can align yourself to work together as a cluster. So in Nigeria, smallholder farmer constitutes 70 to 80 of agricultural labor force. And if you go and check this labor force, you see that the percentage is for women. So we must support each other. I'm going beyond women. I'm just letting us know that we all need each other. We need each other. We need to accommodate each other to work together, but to work with somebody that you can interpret whatever that person is saying correctly.
All the radio stations in Oyo State, there's a group of people that they are advertising. Come and buy land, come and we are going to give you 50%, all sort of. Now, we are talking about agriculture. And land is not something you multiply. It's there. It's constant. By the time you look at the number of people, the number of estates that we have, you discover that most of the arable land have been taken. For example, when you are on your way to Lagos, you see estates springing up and down. Now, when we look at the population of Nigeria, where everybody is saying that we are increasing. If we increase and we do not increase food production, we'll be in problem. So what is the government doing to curtail these estates springing up here and there? Because we can't be building houses everywhere. There should be land that nobody can go there to build estate. I'm not against estate. But if we are talking about food, which is one of the main things of life, we need to do something about this. Thank you.
The question you have raised, the solution is between you and I and everybody. So a bill needed to be raised and then taken to the House of Assembly for debating and ratification. It is when it's being passed into law that government agencies can then act on such. But presently there is no law that is backing that I as an individual, I should not sell my lands to developer for building or any other construction. So it has to be properly done so that such lands could be saved from the hands of the developer. But presently there's no law that is backing it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And if I may just add to what your answer is. I think the solution to that is all of us here. The Yorubas, they'll say, Tony Baka Shepe Bai, Lamba Kwe. if farming had been made attractive, and most of the challenges are not there, the perception of farming is not what it is today. And we have people, Nigerians, actively being engaged in farming. We would not sadly have the situations we are having in the villages, because I see it all the time. Daddy, a whole family of what Yoruba is called Idigi, like Idigi Medogun, that's like 16 family branches. We sell their farmland. I'm not going to call names, but it's happening in Oyo State. We sell their farmland to a foreign citizen, a foreigner that is coming to do farming on their land. And they will collect this money, share it amongst themselves in their 10s, 40s, 50s, whatever. And their youths will use this money to buy Okada, to come and start riding Okada in Ibadan, or Keke Marwa, Keke Napep. So asking government to do something about it is good, but I think this job, the main work, comes down to us, to what we are doing here today. If only 3 out of these 16 EDDs had put their own feet down, that we are not selling our farmland. It's for farming. Come what may, we want to keep our father's land and farm on it. Even if it is us, which we usually don't buy, we lease, the best we can offer them is that we lease the land. And you know, when the land, like Famaniji said, don't look at buying. When the land is there, you're leasing it. You are making your business, you're farming, you're producing on it. So I think we just need to keep doing what we're doing, and we need to keep passing the message across that we need to reprioritize what our priority is.
Start to make presentation. It might not happen overnight, because people sell their land for one reason or the other. When they are pressed, they're selling. They don't even think what you have sat down to visualize the kind of a thing that will happen in the near future. They think of the immediate. They don't think about the future generation. We've done everywhere to concrete. In some other land, they have designated an area that is mapped out for agriculture. If you go to Ukraine, that is the largest, so to say, grain producer, I don't know, I think so. You see the land that is, they know that it's an industry. You cannot interfere with it. We can do something like that, in addition to the suggestion she has just given now. Because government, I don't even know whether they see things like that.
Distinguished lecturers, our youth, welcome everyone to this program on behalf of the Honorable Commissioner. I most especially appreciate the zeal, the passion of this woman, and the pastor and pastor Mrs. too. I pray that Almighty God continue to strengthen you, and you go higher and higher, so that you'll be able to impact on our young generations. So I have this, I don't know where the intervention can come from. I have some of these youth with me, not only in Oyo State alone. I have some in Kano. They are into this agricultural value chain thing. So some of them have registered their business, but they are looking for organization to do the packaging. They say designing of nylon or whatever. Up till now, they are unable to get. I don't know where the intervention can come from. So they said they contacted one company at Lagos. They said the company said 450 for Kaneka, and they can't afford it. I don't know if you can connect them. And again, there are some youth who are interested in getting trained in this Oshedudu. So I don't know where the intervention can come from. Whether when the government is organizing an empowerment program, or they can come as individual, and I don't know if Pastor Mrs. or anyone, intervention can come from any one of you, to be appreciated.
Demand of land to the local government channel. Give us 100 hectares from the local government. So by the time these children, these youths, are trained, we'll be able to introduce them to the land. Proximity local government by local government. Maybe about 12 of them who are able to support initially. They said they had land. But by the time we went there, we discovered that there was no land. They demanded from his HE to give them money to buy land. So it was as bad as that.
So initially when we started, Oyster has 6 programs. Out of the 6 programs, we have 2 that is focusing on the youth. One of it is what I've just said. The other one is called STEM, Start Them Early Program. We went back to the drawing board and we discovered how do we tackle these problems. So we went back to secondary schools. We picked some secondary school, student, at least the SS student, and then we interviewed them. What do you want to become when you leave university? And they said, I want to become a lawyer. I want to become an engineer. Oh, I love a doctor. I want to become a medical doctor. And all sorts. Out of 34 I personally interviewed, none mentioned what want to be a farmer. So the problem started from that. And then we now introduce farming to them. Why is it that you mention all sorts of professions? You did not, say you want to be a farmer. Why? Why? I don't want to be a farmer because a farming is a punishment. Whenever we run foul of anything in school, our teachers will push us to the back of the school to go and be cutting grasses. So they saw that as a punishment. Some said that, oh, I don't like farmers. They look tattered. They wear dirty dresses. I don't like their approach. Some even walk without shoes. So they live in all sorts of negative. So we now went back on our board. There's a problem before us. How do we solve it? We now thought of, okay, modular, there's what we call modular equipment. It is like a mini to mechanization. That is, there are some machineries that our youth can operate at that range. So, and then we requested of the government in collaboration with the IITA, and then they supply all those equipment. We initially picked 6 secondary schools in Oyo State, leveraging on the 6 regions of Oyo State. So after the first phase, we picked another 6. So presently we have 12 states in which government have equipped in modern facilities, ranging from poultry, from modern poultry, from arables, that is the screen house we will call greenhouses, to plant vegetables and shrubs, and then we have also arables, that is the feed plantation like cassava, maize and some other things. So we renovated their laboratories. So we also had value. We created ICT sections for some of them that would love, that. So we also created a value addition that is using flour, using, maize to produce some other things in the laboratory. So a lot of things government has been doing in order to bring them, to change their orientation, that farmers could be millionaires as well. We can as well look for industries. But that is the major things we are doing. Government does not have business in business. That's the statement of His Excellency. He said that if you look across, all our moribund structures were owned by governments. So the government said, no, I'm not going into that. I would rather partner with other investors. For 1, sustainability. For 2, employment for our youth. And then 3, to generate IGR to the government bonds. And this is what we are focusing. Presently, as I'm talking to you, the HE and the handlers, they are in London, for international, summit, business summit in London presently. And we had it 2 years ago at IITA here, so we drew some investors, but we felt that it is not enough. So let's go and sell what we have to the world. Why? Because we have so many people outside there, but they are fear, to come down to Africa because of the, situations happening around. But we need to tell them that Oyo State is safe. It's even more safer. And then the opportunity we have in Oyo State, we have climate, good climate. We have over 28,000 square kilometer, land space, which is even occupied by maybe 5,000. So we have 23,000, land square kilometers here, arable land to play around. So now presently we are focusing on 9 farm settlements in Oyo State. We can pick 3, we pick Fashola, we pick Irua, and then we pick Ido. That's Akufo Farm Settlement, which government is, if you are familiar to Fashola, you see what is happening to Fashola presently. Government had already built, structures, and then factories, and then we have farmland. We have over 1,250 hectares at that place. We only managed to use 250 hectares for structures. And this is how it's been done, from farm to your factory and then to the market. So all our investors that have started, some have started there. So they have farms, 100 hectares, some 200 hectares. So from your farm, then to your factory. Government has already built factory in which government is selling in order to generate funds. So at the end of the day, it will be private sector driven. We are not, government is not involved. It is for sustainability. And then we have introduced to them that we have youths that you can employ in any field. So we have sugarcane industry, we have tomato production industry, we have a prisoner campaigner, that is those that produce meats that we are drinking. That's pig milk, 3 gram milk. They are there with 200 HA. So we are encouraging youths to fix into proper position, start little, and then you grow gradually.
Thanks to the O.O.K groups and O.O.K Farms for this kind of tangible and meaningful symposium. In fact, on behalf of Association of Registered Social Youth Club in Oyo State, we really appreciate this kind gesture you show to us. My question is, how climate change affecting husbanding aspects of agriculture, and what is the solution? Thanks.
Again, I wish to thank the organizers of this symposium, and I wish to register it that since the time I knew this lady, the O.O.K chairperson, I've been very impressed about what is going on in Oyo State agriculture and development in general. Now, coming back to that question, you said how the climate change has been affecting which of the husbandry? Is it the crop husbandry or the animal husbandry? Animal husbandry. I tell people, when you say climate change is a direct response of the earth to agriculture. Most of the controls we have in climate change is being borne by agriculture, and most of the solutions to climate change is agriculture itself. In particular, when you say in particular reference to animal husbandry now, there are 2 very terrible gases that causes climate change. That is the methane and the nitrous oxide. These 2 gases are products of animal husbandry. When you feed grasses to cows, especially the cow now, because these are large animals. When you feed them with the cows and all these grains, now they now have dungs, they have feces. These feces contain a lot of methane gas, which is a very big culprit in ozone layer depletion. They deplete the ozone layer up there because of their having very depleting characteristics. So we now have what you call holes in the atmosphere, especially the ionosphere. So this one causes a lot of direct, the sun is, you know, the earth is enveloped somehow in an atmosphere. The earth has an envelope that God gave it to protect it against the direct rays of the sun. But what these gases does, what they do, these two gases, the methane and the nitrous oxides, what they do is that they puncture the ozone, they puncture the ionosphere, you know, during their being uptake by the atmosphere. So this puncture, these holes that are being born to the ionosphere, the rays of the sun will not come directly down to the human beings. That's what causes all this cancer, ulcer, all these the other very terrible diseases, hypertension and stroke and all these things. Because of your direct receiving the sunlight, the sun rays, which is not being filtered by the ionosphere. So that's in the nutshell, is the elementary chemistry of how climate change affects the animal husbandry. And in any case, even the poultry, which you have in very big numbers, the poultry that you have, the tongues of the poultry, they contain a lot of nitrous oxide from nitric acid that the poultry tongues have. They contain a lot of nitrous oxide that impedes on the ionosphere, you know, and that causes a lot of puncture too in the ionosphere and the ozone layer. So these punctures, they have holes at the atmosphere, and the sun rays now comes directly down to the earth. It causes a lot of things too in the general place. We have floods, causing fires all over the whole place. So, and if you see latest now, it causes day before yesterday there was an announcement on the radio that there was a tsunami somewhere in Vanuatu, that is the South Pacific. You know, this tsunami is something like earthquake in the ocean. So when this earthquake happens, there's a lot of water being washed ashore and causing a lot of flooding all over the whole place. There was a lot of casualties in this Vanuatu earthquake. So in a nutshell, that's what causes how it affects how climate change affects the animal husbandry.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, my brother. I just want us to know generally that there is a awareness being created now on climate changes, and there are trainings going on it, so that we can be more prepared. From what Professor has explained, it's something we should all expect, because we know there are lots of areas where we have been releasing toxic waste into the atmosphere, and that is a natural occurrence. But whatever he's saying has to be looked into one-on-one, and that is the only way you can now get a proper solution to that particular problem. Climate challenges are all over. Like I said, it could be shortage of water, it could be in excess. It could be the direct sunlight, it could be pests, it could be this, it could be that. But after the general covering, you need one-on-one conversation so that you will let us know exactly what the problems are in your own situation. Then we can now profile a solution to it. Thank you.
You don't need to, in terms of maybe for those of us that are into crop, mainly crop, you should not plan your farming just around the rain. You know, sometimes I gave a testimony when I said, I thank God he watered my farm. the man was alerted by my testimony. I said, yeah, the maize has stayed for about a week, 2 without water supply. And it's already affecting when they are not supposed to, when it is time for it to tassel, it has to tassel. It does not whether it just dwarf, but it just, the water or no water, they have to complete its life cycle at a certain time. So what do? For me, for those of us that you have to maybe plan your farming towards areas that you can access if you can afford borehole farm. If you cannot afford borehole, plan your farm location towards the river, whatever, where you can easily at least send help through pumping, whatever, when there is drought or whatever, because you cannot predict it. If you watch out now, the heat that happened this May was excessive. Ordinarily May, we should have water, we should have rain, but it didn't come. So what are you going to do then? It requires, that I said, it requires creativity in the way you solve your problems now.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having a listening ear. You know, like I said when the essay was here, I got myself this not very pleasant image of not liking the present administration. No, that's not it. It's a fight of love, you know. We needed to make our needs and our wants, we needed to make the government listen to us, you know, and the only way to go about it is to keep talking about the problems we're facing. I really appreciate you for being here. Director Mrs., thank you so much. The youths, I see that you see some of them are didn't carry their bags and they've left. Please, ma'am, please come up. Conrad and Deputy, please come up. It is sad that we are having to do this, but we still have to do it. Because, careful, man, please join me on the podium, please. If you are an Oyo State indigene and you are a youth, and you are unemployed or you do not have a stable income, and you heard about today's program, and you registered and you're not here, you don't need prayers. No, that's the truth. God has signed off on your matter. And let me tell you why I say God has signed off on your matter. It is because God had given you everything that you need. Even the Bible says that faith without work. You see these people that are standing here with me, the two of them I can tell you for free, for the past 2 weeks, they've not done their own personal business. All they've been doing is trying, because this is the president of the Registered Association of Youths, you know, the chairman, sorry, is a comrade, and that is his deputy. And they have been in my office at least more than 5 times in the past 2 weeks to put today's program together. And when the first time they came, he heard me spoke on our radio program on Solutions FM every Sunday and then 5 to 6. He called and then they both came to see me that they want to encourage their youth to go into farming because a lot of them are unemployed. So when I made the statement I made earlier, I know what I'm saying. God had given you everything you need. It is you that has not done the job. I want us to please give these people a round of applause. They have really done wonderful. I am impressed by the two of them. And for the office of the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, this is a director, and she is representing Alaja. Alaja is representing the agencies, the executive secretary. You know, today is Saturday. We are all from Oyo State. Every one of us there has one other place we're supposed to be. But they are here to support us, to make the youth see the light that is in agriculture and agribusiness. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I know that this is just the beginning of great things that we're going to do, not only in Oyo State, and I'm happy you mentioned the North, in Nigeria as a nation. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Whew. I give God the glory. On behalf of OOK Group and the entire management team, our chairman, myself, and my family, I want to thank everyone. I say thank you to every youth that have turned up today. Our hope and testimonials from last year would also testify to that, is to build a huge family of farmers, entry and agripreneurs in Nigeria that would not only live a sustainable life from agriculture, but would add to the value of Nigerians in general. So I'm grateful. On behalf of myself and the rest of the team, I say thank you to everybody. People from government as well. My former colleagues from the media, you guys are always delivering. Thank you. I see all these young journalists these days, especially Ibadan media. He tries to tell me how journalism works, and I just laugh. Thank you for being here today. Ibadan Market Square. Uncle, you tell me the meaning of your name, password.
Should I tell you now?
Yeah, now, if it's 1 minute.
It's a long story.
You tell me later. Too playful. Solutions FM, 32 FM. Everyone that is present from the media department, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you all. And like Pastor Mrs. said, or is it Uncle Nije, think of side also, think of agribusiness. You will not go wrong with it if it's done in the right way. So before we bring today's program into an end, if you are a youth here today and you have interest, I haven't answered your question. I'm so sorry. And no one reminded me. You do not have to you do not have to have the sort of passion. Okay, let me put it this way. When I was in secondary school, I didn't have passion for agriculture. When I got married 20 years, oh my God, 20 years ago, now I feel very old, I didn't have passion for agriculture. When I had my daughter 19 years ago, I didn't have passion for agriculture. Where am I going? The passion for agriculture came after I had the knowledge and the eye-opening experience of what agriculture is all about. So read up on my page, listen to our programs, go on Google, go on YouTube, do your researches, come back to me in 3 months and tell me that you don't have the passion for agriculture. Then I'll know what else to say to you. So passion comes from the knowledge. When you have the knowledge and you see what, do you know, a few people that knows me here knows that I love plants. Do you know how it feels when you go to bed at night and your plant is not germinating? And maybe you wake up to pee at night and your eyes just went on your bathroom window and you saw that your plant is coming out. And then you went to work, by the time you come out, the flower is blooming. You will have the passion when you have the knowledge. That's my answer to your question. Thank you. So to everyone that wants to know more or you want to learn, please speak with your comrade. Again, kudos to your state government, OISADA. Our courses were for 50,000 naira per course. But OISADA is supporting us and we're giving it out for half price. It doesn't get better than that. I'm saying it again. If you know these two people and you are in their club, and you still are praying to God, believe me, God has better people to attend to. He has signed off on yours. You know, reach out to them. They will lead you to us. They will point you in the right direction. And on that note, I want to say a very big thank you again to the governor of this beautiful state, Governor Seyi Makinde, for giving the people from Ministry of Agriculture and Youth and Sport to be here today to do the right thing and to do the needful. And to all my colleagues in the agriculture and agribusiness sector, thank you for being here. Auckland Best, I can't thank you enough. Niji Group, thank you. Everyone that couldn't come and send their love, thank you. And as we all go home, I pray that we all meet our loved ones in one piece and that everything that we lay our hands on will prosper. So if I could have my team members here,
If you are part of OOK, whatever it is you're doing, please join us, because I see that we can't have much of a group picture anymore.
Yes. So I would like to know, do you think Nigerian youths are really ready to venture into agribusiness?
You see, when we talk about the readiness of Nigerian youth to venture into agribusiness, I would not say that they are ready, neither would I say that they are not ready. But what I'm just going to say is that some youth are the one driving agribusiness. Maybe because some youth do not really know the importance of agribusiness, that is why they are not delving into it. Because when we say agribusiness, it's just the business and the logistics surrounding agriculture, right? When you grow a crop, from the point of production to the point of transportation, processing, and distribution, that is the chain of agribusiness is completed, right? So you see that it's some people that will do the transportation, some will do the distribution. I think what our youth are not doing appropriately is the process of farming itself. They are not delving into farming the way they should delve into farming, and that is a problem that I have with our youth. Because take Oyo State, for example. Oyo State is big enough agriculture wise to feed the entirety of this nation, right? If and only if the federal government can collaborate with your state government to invest largely and limitlessly into agriculture, there is no way, there is no how, there is no time that would not surpass what we are producing at the moment. And if you can't surpass what we are producing at the moment, definitely we are going to be taking care of other states surrounding us. And if by extension more investment is given to your state, then we can eventually feed the entire nation.
But is there a way the government is actually encouraging this?
Of course, a whole lot of ways. Just like I said just now, over 3,000 youth were trained in Nasarawa in agribusiness. And coming back from there, they were allocated plots of land for them to do their business. You understand? That is just one way out of numerous ways. We have for example, the Start Them Early program in Fashola in Oyo. You see why? Because the government wants the youth, to be discovered on time, to be influenced into delving into agriculture, and so that they can become prominent agriculturists eventually. So this is just to mention a few.
Okay. Apart from that plot, were they giving money to start the agribusiness?
You know that it's not about money all the time. When you're given maybe a piece of land and you are given seedlings or what to produce, is beyond giving you money.
So some allegations were raised against the government, the imposition of heavy tax on agribusiness in the States. Well, how will you react to that?
Basically, you know that our government, for example, is doing a lot to make sure that multiple taxation is curtailed in the state, right? And with what was raised in here today, as a progressive government, what we're going to do is to look into it. At times, these people would even charge them, and it doesn't even get to the government coffers. Right. So what we're gonna do now is be sure that what they allege that they are being taxed for is actually a tax that is being paid into the government coffers eventually. Because to the best of my knowledge, His Excellency frowns at anything that would in any way exploit the people constituency of the state.
Thank you very much. So what can you say about the event, the symposium? What would you have to say about it?
Thank you very much. It's a very laudable program, and it's some of the things that we're expecting to be having in the state, especially when a program is being organized for the youth and for the women. It's something that we must all try to embrace.
Okay, so what would you say about the low turnout of youth at the conference today?
Actually, the youth at times you have to coerce them, you have to motivate them before they move. Some don't know the importance of coming for a program like this. This one is not expected, honestly, and personally, I didn't like it because the turnout is not encouraging. But I believe there is still room for improvement.
Okay, so by next year, what should we expect from
OOK? You by His grace, next year program will not be like this. We will make sure that we mobilize enough. Actually, this zone we have little time for the mobilization, just 2 weeks. We have to send in messages. If something that we have like a month or two, we'll have been able to reach some of the people's, some of these clubs meeting house, and talk to them. They will be more encouraged.
All right, thank you so much for coming.
Wow, it gladdens my heart with the opportunity given to me. It's an opportunity for the youth. When we first met them and our eyes were open to this, how we can become somebody as regard farming, we felt so happy, and we tried to encourage our youth to come for the program. It's a good program, and we hope that every year we'll try to convince most of our youths to participate. And if we have many that participate and we have some of them that put on the love for farming, it will better our tomorrow.
So what should we expect from O.O.K Farms next year?
We expect more than this. We expect that by next year program, one will be more than this, as in full house. Then we expect that O.O.K must have more package for us, even in helping the youth.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. Ma, what can you say about the symposium this year compared to that of last year?
It was a huge, it's still ongoing. It's a huge success. Something that is very significant from this year's symposium was that last year I was here calling out on this administration for not being a part of this sort of event. And from what you can tell, they listened. And even though we've not gotten what we want yet, but we know that we'll still get there. I mean, the governor last year, we were here saying, where's the governor? Where's the Ministry of Agri? Where's the Ministry of Youth and Sport and all of that? We did everything we did this year, last year, inviting them. No one turned up. But this year, they listened and they're here. So that's a significant change in what we say. Another thing from this year as well is that we had testimonials from last year. That is really something, amazing and heart-lifting.
Yeah, the other time you were addressing the representative of Governor Seyi Makinde, you alleged the government of imposing heavy tax on agribusiness in the state. We want you to expatiate.
Sorry, sir, which media house are you from?
Vanguard.
Vanguard, okay, thank you.
We want you to expatiate on this, and what are the ways to ease up the burden of heavy tax on agribusiness in the state?
So, I know that these taxes goes from different ministries and different, transport, environment and all of that. We just need for the government to listen to us, When I mean listen to us, I don't mean like I keep saying it, not those ones that are political agriculturists or political agripreneurs, or how do I call it now, the AC agripreneurs, the people that are really in the agribusiness sector. I'll say likes of Uncle Niji Group, myself, Auckland Best, and others, to listen to us, sit us down. Let's have a committee, let's have a one-on-one, so we can bring these complaints in a constructive manner to the government. So this would enable the government to attend to these complaints in a constructive manner, because we do export, but this is not affecting only us. It's affecting likes of Niji Group that does equipment, moving equipment to different locations. So the government needs to work with us, set up a committee or something, that we will be able to present these problems in a constructive and properly structured manner. God willing, by His grace, we should expect 10 times more what we have today by the grace of God. And when I say 10 times more, we should expect testimonials, in triple fold from what we have this year. We should expect positive feedback from us to the government, meaning that we expect the government to have listened, and not only listen, but take actions on all the complaints we have had.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. I must say your session was so impactful, and thank you so much. So I would like to ask you, what would you have to say about the event?
Yeah, it's what every youth should look forward to being a part of it. So because it's something that can guarantee any reasonable youth, anyone that is serious with his life, to know that farming can be a very wonderful, source of, living, a kind of a means of livelihood, especially when it is done with, passion. Like I said, it's a very good program. Yeah.
So, sir, speaking of passion, like you said, I would love to know, is it only passion that one needs to start farming business?
It's key, because for you to excel in anything you do, you must love it from your heart. Passion in the sense that when I entered into farming, it wasn't with intention to make money. I love seeing things grow. As a pastor, it's an opportunity for me to see the wonders of God. That a grain, if you crush it, you get powder. But when you put it into soil, it produces blood. No man has a hand in the changes that take place. Why that process? So passion for it. Again, passion. Why do you want to go into? I hate hunger. I hate to see people hungry. So it has only been my life to feed people. So one of the fastest, one of the secure means for me to do that is through farming. I grow the food and I feed the people. I love seeing people healthy, because what you eat is what you become. If you don't eat well, you will not be well. If you eat well, you'll be well.
Okay, so sir, do you think the government, this administration is doing it right by the farmers? And if no, what do you think could be done to eradicate that?
Is it state government or federal government?
The state government where we are.
Yeah, well, with the state government, I think, for me, because they supported me sometime with some cash, even though they didn't. I just applied for a soft loan with the government guaranteed, which I finished paying, and it helped me in what I'm doing. I loved also the interest in farming. So I can't talk general, but I know that I'm a beneficiary of a financial support from the state. It's a loan which I paid back, without collateral. They're guaranteed is sort of with you have somebody in the ministry that is a certain level. If you can have that, the others applied and maybe they didn't get, but I did and I got it, and it's okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.